Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, and a fine lawn maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming, free, always. You miss anything, we're going to post it all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Catch up at your leisure. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameron. WTSM app for your mobile devices. That's a good thing, too. And on YouTube, if you're watching, hello, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving week. ESPN Tallahassee on the YouTube. All right, Florida State, Florida. Another day closer. Looking forward to it. Excited about it. Saw an uptick enthusiasm this morning when I woke up. Woke up early, stepped outside, began to contemplate the goodness that is this great rivalry over the years, and hyper-focused on that as opposed to the kind of wayward seasons both schools find themselves having gone through. But because I've been a part of so many of these, I say a part as a fan or a student or as a little kid going with my dad or my stepdad to these games. I've been to many a game down in Gainesville at Ben Hill Griffin, many a game obviously here at Doe Campbell, and some of them are all-time classics to go back through and jog the memory and have some fun with them, and where you were, who were you with, tailgates, all that good stuff. I think a lot of people a lot older than me are reminded what this rivalry was and then how they watched it emerge into one of the all-time greats. And while this isn't a great season, these have been two elite programs for a long time, and the rivalry has always been amongst the nation's best. So you try to attach yourself to those emotions, those feelings, that history, and talk about it in that light. It makes it a little bit more fun.
It does, and there's a lot of memories, man. This is one, often I hear you talk about, going back to Florida State, Miami back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
All the games you went down to the Orange Bowl to see. Obviously, you went to a lot of Florida games in the 80s as well.
Yeah.
With your stepdad, and I always think, man, he goes back. That's like in his blood. Well, in this sense, this is one of a few things in sports that's in my blood, but this weekend's game is.
Yeah.
It meant more than any other week when I was growing up. I've always said it. I've always maintained it, and it still feels this way. It hasn't changed over the years. Florida State week means the most to me as a fan. Now, has it been as consequential as it was in the 90s? Not even close. These two teams have been ships passing each other in the night for the last, 15 years or so? In the 90s, every year, they were both top 10 teams, which was pretty crazy. But still, because of those formative years, when I was learning the game, watching the game as a kid, man, Florida State means the absolute most to me. Just from a selfish fan standpoint, I love it more than anything else when we beat the Gators.
One of the things that has certainly led to a greater sense of loyalty to our current head coach with Jimbo Fisher is certainly his success and the successes he's had in state. He's only lost twice in the state. He's been dominant, and his second loss came this year against Miami in a last-second heartbreaker, but he's owned the Canes and he's owned the Gators. One loss now apiece to each. And, there's no doubt rivalry games matter. I mean, over the years, you go back to that Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, and you can ask Cooper, or you can go back and, go through the ages. There have been coaches that had records where you go, well, that's a good record. He's averaging 8-9 wins a year, 10 wins a year, but couldn't beat his rival. Well, Jimbo got off to a great start and has been able to really foster a record that is really one-sided. And he's got a chance here to win a game that still means an awful lot to a lot of people, even in the midst of a 4-6 season. And it may even have more of an emphasis and importance on a season that is lost, because it's the difference between whether or not you're going to go bowling and continue a streak that is all-time great, speaking of streaks. And to beat Florida for a fifth consecutive time is a big deal historically in this rivalry. Against the Gators, Fisher is 6-1. He's outscored Florida 197-92. 4 straight wins in the series. As I say, a fifth straight is historically unprecedented for Florida State to be able to be in a position to rival sometimes some of the great streaks of all time. So I don't know, man. I still feel the importance of it. I am disappointed that the two teams that one of the teams finds themselves in this situation. And yeah, they're both bad this year, but I'm not disappointed that Florida's bad. It's just the point is, if you think about this game and whether or not he wins it, it still means a lot to a lot of people who go back an awful long way when Florida thumbed their nose at Florida State and took on an elitist attitude towards Florida State, one that didn't seem very warranted based on Florida's lack of success prior to the 90s, nationally that is. But one that historically was true. And you win this game, you beat him down in Florida again in 3 games in Gainesville. He's 3-0 is Fisher. The average margin of victory in those games down in Gainesville is unimaginable. Florida State has beaten Florida State to the tune of 28.3 to 5.3 in Gainesville. Thorough beatdowns, to say the least. And if you get it here, you win 4 straight down there, and you end up winning 5 straight overall in the series. It's woof.
Yeah, they've scored 16 points total in the 3 times we've been down there. Has Florida
under Fisher? Yeah,
under Fisher. It's crazy. The thing is, and this is where it will be, the pro in me kicking in, the guy who's covered the team and looks at Florida State in a different way than I did even when I was in college.
Sure.
The latter part of college.
Certainly different than when you were in college.
We're right back where we started on Monday, having the big conversations after, maybe Tuesday. Monday we'll enjoy, but on Tuesday we'll be right back where we started. It can only be made worse by losing to your rival, and as I understand, if you go 5-6 and you cancel a game, you could petition, to
but
be
our
eligible for a
APR
bowl.
score is not good enough to get in.
Oh no! I'm talking about Florida.
Oh, sorry.
Could do that. So they're playing kind of for bowl eligibility too, even though they're under 500. But you can petition.
Right.
But if you win it, that'll be nice for a day, and it'll be nice on Monday to come back and maybe we'll think up a montage. We haven't had to do a montage this year, other than the one yesterday, which was fun. But we haven't had to do one this year, and that'd just be nice because even when we're down and we're drunk in the gutter. Well, you've already passed out, and we're still conscious. So it's kind of like being Rocky and Rocky 2. I'm barely standing at 10.
Yeah.
It's kind of a double knockout, but okay, he's kind of leaning on the rope.
He's up.
He wasn't standing at all, which is kind of ridiculous. But that's who we would be. We would, by that half second, we'd be just a little bit better, and we won't remember that part of it if we win 10 straight, let's say. If this leads to us
the Platinum Bohemian.
Doubling down.
Good Lord.
We'll forget about this one.
Yeah, no. Well, no, in some ways you won't. You'll say that was vital.
But we won't brag about it. We'll say, we'll look at the 31-7. We'll look at
it will be part of a totality that equals a Platinum Bohica, sir. They all mean
you should have beat us
special.
in 17, Florida. What the hell's wrong with you?
Good Lord. Florida with 10 straight quarters without an offensive touchdown against Florida State.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
10. Sweet Jesus. Think you guys can score an offensive touchdown this go-around, Florida? I don't know. That is a dicey-ass offense.
55% chance they scored an offensive touchdown this week? Just a little bit better than a coin flip?
It's pretty slim. Fewest points allowed to Florida in series history has resulted under Jimbo Fisher. And, it's interesting. I don't necessarily chalk this up as a guaranteed road win, certainly. I don't look at it as an easy win. Ordinarily, when Florida's this bad and the numbers read as they do, you would. I can't because we're not great, and we have a true freshman going into the swamp. And if he doesn't have success, and by the way, Florida against the pass hasn't been terrible. So if you find it tough sledding, if they stack to stop the run and you're unable to do it, and you're going to have to rely on his arm on the road, in a place like, hey, listen, the place like the swamp can get, obviously we know what it can get like. It'll be interesting to see what the fans are like for this game. But, James Blackman has not had to experience this. He did it against Clemson, and he was awful for a half. You worry about it.
Well, the one thing this is be interesting to see how Jimbo approaches this game because it looked like we had a formula, and you always point it out when you have a chance, and you rightly do so.
Because it pisses me off.
With Duke and Miami, there was an approach.
You had an approach, man. It got him out of the pocket. You ran the football. You were physical. You went max protect. You gave him an opportunity to cut the field in half. You rolled him out.
Since then, Delaware State notwithstanding, because it doesn't count for much anything other than maybe a little bit of confidence for our squad. It's been more passive. It's been more finesse-style runs. The long developing runs to the perimeter. You do that, man, you're opening up a can of worms here because you're going to be in 3rd and long. But if you run right at him, if you line up, run right at him,
Teams have done that.
Teams have done that. Teams can do that. It's a first in a long time that you can consistently succeed doing that.
They're certainly better about it at home than they are on the road, though.
They are,
meaning
indeed.
Florida's defense.
The schedule is interesting, too, with who they faced in that time. But Jimbo has shown against Florida that he will batten down the hatches and call the game differently than he would any other game. And he did so in 2011, which started the streak of our success down there in Gainesville. He knew, given how good Florida's defense was and how good our defense was, if you get a lead, you got the lead for as long as you don't give it away. And so he decided to let Sean Powell's leg be the deciding factor between us and Florida that night. That game plan or that in-game adjustment, whichever it was, showed that Jimbo is willing to come out of the same old stubborn 4 or 5 base plays if the situation demands it.
Yeah.
So let's see, in a rivalry game that you got to have in order to become bowl eligible, is he willing to do that again, or are we going to call outside zone on 3rd and 1? Are we going to go shotgun on 3rd and 2? I mean, what's it going to be this week?
I don't know what the game plan is because I haven't been able to very well predict Jimbo Fisher this year. It's been a weird year. I certainly lay off of criticisms of his offense most of the time. I certainly don't have a problem with him as a play caller. It hasn't been a big beef of mine. Some people disagree with me vehemently.
This year has been a little bit shaky, right?
Well, that's my point. That's why I say I traditionally have not gone down that path. There have been other problems that I've had, some things that I've disagreed with and shared, but it hasn't been that traditionally that I've had a problem with the offense, either philosophically or the way that it's executed. I've occasionally mentioned that I would like us to run plays at a little bit faster clip. I've had a problem with tempo because I think when you have better players, you should do that. But that said, this year has been at times a head-scratcher, especially when you've had to turn to a true freshman quarterback and you've put him in a position to take a lot of shots by having him back there in the shotgun, having to scan the whole field, slow developing routes down the football field. Yeah, no, I've taken some issue with that, and it's fine. It's I would think something that he is well aware of. I don't mean my objections, but rather the results of running the offense that way.
Yeah, and given his strengths, I mean, it just kind of it beckons for a 90s NFL approach, right? You just line up 1 or 2 wide receivers, jumbo run right at you, and then there's play action shots over the top because that's what he throws well anyway.
Yeah, he throws the deep ball well for the most part if he gets any time.
The question, to me, you'll know within a couple of drives, when we need short yardage. When we get off a schedule, actually, that's probably the better time. So whatever they're going to scheme up for the first 15, they scheme up for the first 15. But let's just say we get off a schedule, and now it's a knockdown, drag out. How are we going to move the chains? I think that's when you'll learn the approach. Is it going to be about what our base plays are for every other quarterback that we've had in the system? Or is it going to be, all right, we got Cam, we got Jaquez, let's do what we do, and let's run right the hell
I'm going to
at
run
them.
the ball and play field position and challenge Felipe Franks and Florida's offense, which has been bad all year long. Whether it's him or Zaire playing quarterback really hasn't mattered. They haven't had a lot of success doing much of anything. I'm going to run the football, understand that it might be tough sledding early on. I'm going to throw off a play action. I'm going to play field position. And I'm gonna play to the strength of this team, which right now is the defense. It's not a great defense, but it's certainly better than the offense.
Well, the other thing is too, you've seen James now on the road a couple of times. He had a rough go on Friday night at Boston College, so did the whole team. So that's not all on him. But in Clemson, you saw the way he started that game.
First half of that game is woo.
So isn't it vital, if you review that film, that you've got to get him loose in a different way than you tried last time?
Screens, draws, rollouts. Cut the field in half.
Instead of 1 through 4. Now, let's get 1 to 4 now.
Yeah, man. It's in a weird way. Years talking, in a weird way, if you remove the records and you focus on the rivalry and the evenness of the matchup, it's a classic Florida State-Florida game where you would say nobody has an overwhelming advantage between two teams that are always talent-rich. In some ways, it is that matchup again, but they're 4-6.
We don't have Dalvin Cook like we did last year, and obviously we don't have the quarterback we had, but we have Cam Akers. And he wasn't used very much this past weekend. Perhaps Cam is quite fresh.
That is the benefit. If you're looking for the lone benefit of a game like you had against Delaware State, which was virtually unwatchable, it is to rest all of those guys and to give them the breather they need. Look, you're you're in essence playing for bowl eligibility, which is a big deal around here, period. I had somebody say, well, how big a deal is that given the season and the problems that kind of have to be addressed? I'm like, no. I get it. It's much easier to address problems when historic streaks aren't snapped. Just like it's much easier to address problems after a win.
Yeah, I think the unique thing about this season is usually when you're talking about the betterment of the program, and it's usually tied to the result on the weekend. But right now, those two conversations live in completely separate worlds. There's the break we have from the larger questions, and that's called the football game we watch.
Yep.
And then there's the return to the rest of the conversation, which is 90% of the chart, which is, what are we going to do to fix the program? The game is the distraction from the larger conversation.
And in this time, it's an even bigger distraction because the nature of a rivalry on the road against your hated enemy in the University of Florida. You can add to their demise while aiding a baby step towards a minimal goal of yours on a yearly basis. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine and tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Cold beer, and Fox & Stag has you covered too, with rotating drafts and bottles sure to quench your thirst. Come by for a drink and stay for the company, Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. For catering or private parties, message Fox & Stag on Facebook.
Fire up the grills for another season of Seminole football.
2nd and 3, patient, then explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
It's Tallahassee Game Day, your ESPN Tallahassee pregame show, featuring Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Noles defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit mmtcfl.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
It's that time of year again where you have to shop for the naughty and the nice. Make it easy. Super Lube it and get rewarded with a free oil change. Right now, visit any of the 19 area Super Lube locations, buy 3 oil changes, and get 1 free. Keep it or give that free oil change to a car lover on your list. Hurry in and make shopping easy with a free oil change from Super Lube. You'll be glad you did.
They change more than just 10 minutes. Boy, this place is sure convenient. How I love to super lube my car, lube my car. How I love to super lube my car. Yes, sir.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the 3 amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
At Progressive, we think your floral boutique is the bee's knees. In fact, it's all the bee's knees in every hive of bees in all the trees from here to Belize. Please. Everyone agrees. You deserve the expertise of Progressive Business Insurance, with over 40 years of experience helping busy bees and their knees glide with ease like a gentle breeze. So whether you're a worker bee, a queen, or none of these, buzz over to progressivecommercial.com if you please. Faster than a bee's knees as he pollinates the leaves of 3 trees. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. More watching, less washing from our friends at Wash Around the Clock.
Jeff, what's your plan with all of this laundry?
Not my job.
Excuse me, get off the couch already.
Wash Around the Clock's got it. More watching, less washing.
Ooh. Best husband ever.
Yay. All right. Wash Around the Clock, our friends for your one-stop local laundry service. Here's the deal. You want to save time. Nobody's got a lot of it. You're busy. It's a busy world. And you got things you got to take care of. Sometimes that's laundry. And that seems to take up really a disproportionate amount of your time when you're sitting there folding clothes, waiting for them to dry, making sure the delicates don't get ruined while you're doing all the other stuff. And then some of these got to be in cold. Some of these got. I get it. Laundry's not hard. It's just time consuming. So it doesn't have to be. I went with my friends at Wash Around the Clock and said, all right, I'll do the easy laundry. I'll sign up for it. Pick up and delivery at your home or office. We do it here at the office. It's the ultimate convenience and time saver. They do dry cleaning. They do pressing. They'll do it any way you want to do it, and they'll bring it back folded, nice and neat, ready to roll. Throw them in the drawers, hang them up. You got it. And it's over with just like that. Go check it out. Go to TallahasseeLaundry.com and click on the Easy Laundry little headliner there, the header. You'll see it. It's pretty easy, and you'll find out what I'm talking about.
The big red bag, man, that's become part of my weekly routine. You got to drop off the big red bag right here at the office, but not at their place. They come get the rest of it for you.
Yeah, also,
they'll take you the rest of the way.
You could also do it the other way. We choose to do that because, listen, we don't want to be ungrateful jerks, but most people just put it outside their door and they go to work.
Right.
It's at their house.
But, since it's you and I, one trip instead of two.
It's the right thing to do, right.
And then the big red bag comes back. I'm a Tuesday, Friday guy personally. But, yes, it makes life so much easier, and I'm a hero for it, kind of like you were in the sounder.
I am a hero.
Because that's not my chore.
No.
So I took a chore off the list.
You're like, there you go. You got it.
So I have to do one fewer thing.
Oh, so you guys got
now.
your listed chores?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that you – is there literally a list?
No.
That would be pretty cool, though, if you had to look at it like, today's my day.
Man, I'm not 40 yet.
No. No, I'm not saying you'd forget. It should be funny. It's cute. Here you go. Hun, it's on the list. I mean, these dishes arenn't going to wash themselves.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the dishes guy. Yeah. If we get to about Thursday and they're not done, that's when the look starts. Because there's only 2 people in the house, so they don't stack up very quickly.
I was going to say, you'd be getting the look before Thursday. That's awfully late in the week.
Well, if you've got,
by Wednesday, what are we doing here, man?
It's like 3 plates there. It'll be fine.
Those plates can move it on over. It's funny, though. You're in a different situation because you actually hand wash yours, right?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I've been throwing them in the dishwasher lately, but I hand wash them first. Still.
Like hardcore? Like get after it? Or do you just do a little once over?
Man, I can't willy-nilly it.
Okay.
Actually, you know what I use the dishwasher for more than anything else is the glasses. We've got 1 million pint glasses, in cups, and it just gets annoying to clean every single glass.
I agree with that.
So I wash them out with water and I just throw them in there.
That's the way you roll right there.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it. Anyhow, experience the ease with which Easy Laundry works. Our friends at Wash Around the Clock want you to sign up. I do too. It's good stuff. You'll thank me and Tom for it. TallahasseeLaundry.com. More watching, less washing. That watching has to do with the obvious games, rivalry games. All right, let's do it. South Florida UCF on Friday. I'm going to watch that game. I have no idea what I'm going to get at a 10-0 UCF and 9-1 South Florida, but I'm leaning towards UCF to win the football game.
It's funny. I'm leaning towards South Florida.
Oh, good on you.
Because they're not as consistent, but when they try, I think they're a better team than UCF is. UCF, you can kind of set a watch by what they do.
How much have you watched UCF?
More than I should have, but that might be because I was interested in a couple of UCF
No, you've
results.
taken them and won those games that you've taken them in the sporting kind of way. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No, their defense is not good. I mean, they don't tackle well at all, but they generate turnovers.
It's a Friday 3:30 game.
Yeah.
I'll be watching. We won't be working.
Yeah, I think USF has better trench play on both sides.
Well, that's usually everything.
Overall. But UCF, but the tempo of UCF's offense, they run it at such a great and efficient clip that you play it that little level down, and that's tough for other teams to pick up and react to.
Florida State, Florida, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn. What floats your boat after our game?
It's the Iron Bowl. I'm just interested to see. And also,
well, it's a great game is why. 9-2, 11-0, two good defenses. All right, let's get it on.
Yeah, and honestly, if Auburn wins, it just creates a lot of interesting scenarios for the playoff committee. If you like chaos and you like controversy,
which I tend to,
and teams getting left out and all that stuff, soap opera stuff, well, then you want Auburn to win this game because then the Alabama scenario is very interesting, especially if you have Pac-12 and Big Ten champions that have 2 losses. God forbid Oklahoma loses the Big 12 championship game. I mean, you have all kinds of really funky scenarios in which Alabama would still skate and likely be in the playoff. I
want to
think.
further foster our move to 8 teams. If that's your goal, you'll get it if you get chaos this year. People will start to say and note how willy-nilly it is that certain teams get in and others don't, and it's already potentially in play.
Because I think that scenario is in play no matter what happens if Auburn wins. If they win and Georgia wins the SEC, well, Alabama is still a big part of the conversation.
They're a real big part of the conversation. It'd be a problem. I'm intrigued by a scenario by which a Big Ten champion Ohio State with 2 blowout losses on their resume gets treated. If something weird plays out to where that team somehow got in, I think there would be a lot of very angry people because they have been blown the hell out twice.
At the risk of sounding like an a-hole in a couple weeks, I just don't see how they get in. I don't.
I don't either, but there is an outside chance as a conference champion if Alabama loses.
Yeah. Yeah, if Alabama loses, well, still.
What if Alabama loses and then Auburn beats Georgia and Auburn's your SEC champion and Alabama sits at 11-1 with 1 loss to the SEC champion and Ohio State is the Big 10 champion?
Well, assuming a close loss this week for Alabama, I still think they put them in over Ohio State. Because the committee's not afraid, man. That's the one thing I will say about them. Reckless and wrong sometimes, but they're not afraid.
Well, they're also wildly inconsistent as to what their measuring sticks are, but they do constantly harp on one thing, and that is that they do give you greater credence to your record, whatever it might be. If you're a conference champion, it's a divider.
This is true, but Ohio State was the first precedent that you don't have to win your conference.
That's right.
If you have 1 loss. So that's exactly where Alabama would fall if they lose this weekend. In a weird way, they might very well be in no matter what happens.
We've got 2 Florida State basketball games forthcoming. One tomorrow, one Friday. I'll touch on it momentarily. It's the last live show of the week. Tomorrow is Seminole Headlines, which we put in the can today. And it's really good and it's lengthy and meaty, and you'll get all of that. Oh, hey now. On tomorrow's program. But today, it's all live all the way through. I made myself laugh. Sorry. We'll preview a little bit of that basketball moment.
Sorry.
Right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
6. Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Shop's Black Friday sale, happening this Friday through Sunday, the 26th. 3 days only. You won't want to miss the best deals in golf this holiday season with huge savings in every department. Save on golf clubs, balls, shoes, bags, rangefinders, and apparel. And Callaway has gotten into the holiday spirit by offering a 50% bonus trade-in until the end of this month. And buy with confidence, knowing every purchase at Edwin Watts is backed by a 90-day, 100% guarantee. Don't miss this sale. Black Friday through Sunday, the 26th, only at Edwin Watts. The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
At Progressive, we think your floral boutique is the bee's knees. In fact, it's all the bee's knees in every hive of bees and all the trees from here to Belize. Please. Everyone agrees. You deserve the expertise of Progressive Business Insurance, with over 40 years of experience helping busy bees and their knees glide with ease like a gentle breeze. So whether you're a worker bee, a queen, or none of these, buzz over to progressivecommercial.com if you please. Faster than a bee's knees as he pollinates the leaves of 3 trees. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let Mahindra show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth. And hurry in for up to $7,400 in special Mahindra cash back and savings.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT SuperCenter, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
ESPN Radio SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, NFC North leading Vikings staying with Case Keenum as their starting quarterback. Coach Mike Zimmer confirming Keenum starts Thursday against the Lions. Minnesota's won 6 straight with him playing. ESPN's Louis Riddick.
Case Keenum keeps playing like this. I mean, the past 2 weeks, his stats have exploded. Yards per attempt has just gone off the charts, and the accuracy is there too, and that's a dangerous combination. And the third part of this is the fact that this guy is making plays outside the pocket and with his feet in a way that, I'm just telling you, Sam Bradford didn't give him.
Steelers rookie Juju Smith-Schuster dealing with a small hamstring injury that the team will monitor this week. He's second on the Steelers in TD receptions and receiving yards. Fourth college football playoff rankings of the season released tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Not any changes expected at the top. Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Oklahoma currently in the top 4. NBA, Warriors forward Kevin Durant dealing with a sprained ankle. Questionable tomorrow against his former team, the Thunder, 8 Eastern on ESPN TV. Durant fully practiced today, is still experiencing slight soreness in the ankle.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Do want to get to the basketball, but were you watching during the fake field goal attempt last night? I don't know how good coach is, and Pete Carroll's been a good coach. So they're faking a field goal right before the half. It would have made it a 24-20 game at halftime if he kicks the field goal. And Pete Carroll calls a fake. There's 7 seconds left in the half. And Seattle did have a timeout, and it's 4th down. If they convert it, short of scoring, they're on the 20. Short of scoring a touchdown, you would only do that to convert the first down and call timeout in order to kick a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the play is meant to score, but it's a snap to the holder who's now giving it to a tight end coming down the line. So he just, instead of placing the ball, throws it back to a tight end running across the face. It's tackled in the backfield for a loss of 2. Given what the final score of the game was, that could have cost him the game.
Sure.
You see a lot of stuff like this, man. It makes you wonder. You know how people will say, well, unless you've been a coach or the dumb people that make arguments all the time that unless you have been a head coach or unless you, I don't know, or a musician, then you can't criticize certain things. This would be an answer to that. This would be, and we see it all the time, where you could say, nope, by any measurement, that's dumb. And there was no reason to do it whatsoever. None. I don't get it.
That's more egregious than Mendenhall's call, Bronco Mendenhall's call for an onside kick up 14-0 last weekend. You're playing better. Like, you're just playing better than they are right now. Why would you want to give them an excuse to come back into this game with a short field? They end up getting a stop off of it, but it neutralizes the momentum. You know, if you try something tricky like that, what you are projecting to your opponent is, we don't believe we're good enough to beat you straight up. We need something else to go our way.
Well,
it breathes life into a building that had none.
Well, and also I just don't get, I mean, so the play doesn't work out. You lose the game 34-31. I know to look at the final score and then go back to that play is not necessarily fair. It could be a leap in logic, but Pete Carroll said after the game, quote, "It was a good call if we had made it. We saw what we wanted to do. We had a great opportunity there. It was right where we wanted." I'm reading his quote. "Defensive tackle just made a better play. He really wasn't supposed to be there." Well, he was there, and he tackled your guy in the backfield, and even if you convert it, it's just a first down in time for you to call timeout and kick a field goal.
Well, I don't get the brain the cold.
It just didn't make any sense. Florida State will play 2 games this week. The basketball team is 3-0. They get Kennesaw State tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. if you're interested. Kennesaw State 1-3. This at the TLC CC. ACC Network webcast available on ESPN3.
All right. ACC Network Extra.
Yeah. First ever meeting between the two programs. Kennesaw is coming off a 14-18 finish, 7-7 in the A-Sun. They were picked to finish 5th out of 8 teams in that conference preseason media and coaches polls. The Owls used to be a Division II program. They've moved on up, so we'll see. What do you think?
Oh, I think it'll be ass-kicking Central. It looks like this week is kind of a respite from the really tough back-to-back matchups against Fordham and Colorado State.
Kennesaw State is coached by Al Skinner.
Oh.
Remember old Al, the longtime Boston College coach who led the BC Eagles to 7 NCAA tournaments and an NIT in his 13 years in Chestnut Hill before being fired in 2010? You don't remember Al Skinner?
I kind of remember Al Skinner, yeah.
By the way, Boston College hasn't gone to the NCAA tournament since firing Al Skinner. So Al Skinner's like, get you some.
Yeah, they got that prickly guy. You know, he's the elite guy.
Yeah, he gets angry, yeah.
Yeah, he's very up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Al Skinner presided over those teams that beat us a couple of times for no good reason with
fashion.
prayers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we play the Citadel, 3-2, 8 p.m. TLC CC ACC Network webcast available on ESPN. And by the way, this counts as FSU's 3rd game in the Jamaica Classic in a weird way. FSU leads the all-time series just 6-4 against the Citadel, and the Bulldogs are coming off that fantastic 4-14 Southern Conference record from a year ago, 12-21 on the year. They're picked to finish 7 out of 10 teams.
I think it'll be a 2-0 week for the Knowles basketball program.
5-0, choo-choo!
Setting up
Keep it on, baby.
Knockdown drag-out with Rutgers next week in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. There it is.
All right. Crap out of conference schedule leads to a bunch of wins and a false sense of security. I like it. I'm embracing it. Okay, then.
It'll be a shock to the system when we play Florida. There's no doubt about that.
Or for them, when they see that hustle.
I'm talking about between
that depth.
Tip off to the first media timeout. We might go, ooh, okay.
These a little bit different animal. May have a little something for us here.
A little bit better.
If you are wondering, by the way, the major conference opponents as we get away from the Kennesaw States of the world, Rutgers on the 28th, that's 7 days from now. We've got Florida Monday, December the 4th, currently 7th in both polls, picked to finish 2nd in the SEC behind Kentucky in the conference preseason media poll. That is the lone truly quality non-conference opponent that we have. You do get Oklahoma State, and maybe on the surface you say, oh, well, Oklahoma State, that's that game down in Sunrise we play every year in Sunrise. I'm usually out of town during that time. I'm usually at a bar in Bradenton when we go down to Sunrise.
Specifically Bradenton.
Specifically Bradenton. I'm usually in Bradenton for whatever reason. Usually it's something to do with the holidays, doing an early Christmas with the family. And I'm at a bar watching us in Sunrise play a game in which I'm the only person captivated by it in the corner of the bar, watching with bated breath as to what happened.
Oh, and it's always awful.
It is always awful.
Oh, my goodness. The one thing about it is it looks like it's a home game because they're all the empty garnet red-looking seats.
Well, it's also one that my buddy Matt always goes to. He's always like, oh, I'm going to go see the Knowles. And he's like tailgating.
I know, and he had to wait, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago because they couldn't get the basket up to 10
right,
feet?
Remember that?
It was like a half an hour delay.
Crazy. That's against Oklahoma State. That'll take place on the 16th in Sunrise. And by the way, Oklahoma State, which again on the surface you'd go, well, that's a quality opponent. Well, they're picked last out of 10 schools in the Big 12 preseason media poll, currently 3-1 though. But they did get routed 72-55 by Texas A&M just last night.
Well, okay. But A&M took care of West Virginia, so you never know. Maybe that A&M team's really, really good.
Yeah. So just so you know, you don't have many opportunities to really kind of scratch the surface of the quality of this club or what they could or could not be.
It's been fun to watch them for the first few games, but it might be a week off time for them. You know, we'll reassemble for next week.
This guy's going to tomorrow's 2 o'clock tip, buddy.
There you go.
This guy's going.
It'll be time to reassemble for the ACC Big Ten next week. A little Rutgers action. There
Get
you go.
Some Rutgers.
It's on television.
Yeah.
Like television.
Yeah, regular television.
That's the one you could, turn the channel on.
Not the interwebs.
That's
you
right.
Actually, the little cables in the back of the tube, and you go, click, I'm going to do it. When you talk to old people, they can't get away from the idea of the cable not plugging into their television, or at least their box, right? They're always like, what do you mean I have to cast it?
Oh, man, my grandparents were old enough that they preferred to go up to the TV and switch the channel. They didn't like the remote. They didn't trust it.
They didn't like it. They didn't like convenience.
They weren't big fans of the remote.
They didn't like the idea of just staying right there parked on your ass, flipping the channels, as opposed to getting up and flipping them.
Yeah. They're sitting
really
away. He's got to get up and change the channel.
Old people are amazing. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
The new Fox and Stag, Tallahassee's local craft cocktail bar in the heart of Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue, featuring a newly expanded liquor menu including limited release scotches, whiskeys, and bourbons, as well as unique spirits distilled right here in Florida. If wine is your thing, swing by and try one of Fox and Stag's hand-selected bottles from their ever-expanding wine list, or simply enjoy one by the glass paired with a charcuterie board or delicious small plates. Sometimes you just want a cold beer, and Fox and Stag has you covered too, with rotating drafts and bottles sure to quench your thirst. Come by for a drink and stay for the company, Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. For catering or private parties, message Fox and Stag on Facebook.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get 225 domestic drafts, 275 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, going to join us to start the next hour. We're treating this as a Friday. There is fresh content for you tomorrow. It will be a lengthy edition of Seminole Headlines. So, I'm wondering, our rivalry game is kind of on the back burner nationally. But you do have 4 games this weekend where a top 10 team is visiting an unranked rival. Clemson is at South Carolina, 7:30 Saturday night. They've won 3 straight in this series. They won last year 56-7. I put an end to that.
Yeah, I think he's exercised those demons from the Spurrier days a little bit.
The Gamecocks are winless in 3 meetings with the Tigers when the Tigers are ranked in the top 5 in the AP poll. So this constitutes that. Wisconsin is at Minnesota, and I would really love to see that upset take place. Wisconsin has won 13 straight times, though, against Minnesota. Is that really a great rivalry? Is this the one where they run and get the axe?
I think it's for the axe,
I like the axe.
Yeah.
Go get that thing. Come on, Minnesota. Run over there and you get that Bunyan axe.
Who's Minnesota's head coach?
That's our guy.
P.J. Fleck.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about P.J. Fleck anymore.
Well, it's year 1.
I know, but people thought instant impact.
No, but he has made an impact already.
Yeah, what, they have 4 wins?
They just throttled Nebraska by like 50.
I mean, Nebraska.
Minnesota is not in a place where they can, look at lopsided victories over anybody as just well.
Does that mean they're fighting for bowl eligibility? Gonna have to pull up their record.
Well, you're gonna do this to me now. Here we go.
Are they 5-6, looking for that nod?
Well, let's hope, because that's you want one of these things to turn into the upset that we're wishing for. Here you go. I got it, Tom. Minnesota is they started the year with a big win over Buffalo. You ready to go through this?
Oh, here we go.
1-0. Then they beat Oregon State 48-14. Instant impact, pal. That's 2-0. Then they beat Middle Tennessee State. Get you some 34-3. 3-0. Then they lost to Maryland. That was a toughie. 31-24. So they're 3-1. Then they lost to Purdue 31-17. They're 3-2. Then they lost to Michigan State 30-27. That's an instant impact. They were right there. 3-3. Then they beat Illinois, as most do.
Okay.
24-17. They're 4-3. Then they lost to Iowa in heartbreaking fashion, 17-10.
Okay.
It kind of offsets the close nature of the Illinois win. They were right there. So now they're 4-4. They got stomped by Michigan, 33-10. They're 4-5. Then they beat the bejesus out of Nebraska, 54-21. They're 5-5. Tom Lang.
All right.
And their Northwestern beat them 39-0. It got away from them a little early in that one. 5-6. This is the fight for bowl eligibility right here, baby. Gotta beat Wisconsin. They're gonna do it, Tom.
Is that a bold endeavor I hear? You're picking P.J. Fleck over Wisconsin?
No, it's in Madison. They're not going to. No, that was not right. I have that wrong. Are they in?
I don't know where they are.
They're at Minnesota. They're at Minnesota.
Oh.
Minnesota. Wisconsin's chances of reaching the playoff very high. Georgia Tech, noon. Upset, maybe. Any chance?
I think that game could be close.
Ohio State, Michigan. At Michigan, the big house at noon.
That game could be close. Needs to be for Harbaugh.
Rough go this year. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. Next, stay tuned.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hey, handsome, what's happening?
I'm ready for a beer, my man. How are you?
I am fantastic. This weather is beautiful.
Perfect, and I have a question for you. Snow cone or candy apple?
Ooh, both are sticky.
Both are tasty.
Candy apple.
No, that's the wrong answer. Halloween or Thanksgiving?
Ooh, one is sweet and the other one's savory. I'm going Thanksgiving.
Again. 16 Candles or Back to the Future?
Oh, my goodness. John Hughes or what's that boy's name? Marty McFly? I'm going 16 Candles.
Papa Grande with a Gordo smash. And by the way, I want that. Or a mountain of delicious croquetas. Also with a Gordo smash.
Trick question. Either way, you're not going to lose.
Exactamundo, my brother. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mayhan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
It takes 4 essential ingredients to brew Bud Light: barley, rice, water, and hops. But this is a 30-second commercial. So here's the sound of barley malting. It's super quiet. Sorry. Here's to the beer you can always count on. Brewed to be America's favorite light lager. Bud Light, famous among friends. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, NFC North leading Vikings staying with Case Keenum as their starting quarterback. Coach Mike Zimmer confirming Keenum starts Thursday against the Lions. Minnesota's won 6 straight with him playing. ESPN's Louis Riddick.
Case Keenum keeps playing like this. I mean, the past 2 weeks, his stats have exploded. Yards per attempt, that's just going off the charts. And the accuracy is there, too. And that's a dangerous combination. And the third part of this is the fact that this guy is making plays outside the pocket and with his feet in a way that, I'm just telling you, Sam Bradford didn't give him.
Steelers rookie Juju Smith-Schuster dealing with a small hamstring injury that the team will monitor this week. He's second on the Steelers in TD receptions and receiving yards. Fourth college football playoff rankings of the season released tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Not any changes expected at the top. Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Oklahoma currently in the top 4. NBA, Warriors forward Kevin Durant dealing with a sprained ankle. Questionable tomorrow against his former team, the Thunder, 8 Eastern on ESPN TV. Durant fully practiced today, is still experiencing slight soreness in the ankle.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Look at you with the discipline from your collegiate years. I love it. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
I should follow your methodology. Do you only eat yogurt?
No. Just happen to be eating yogurt right before we started the segment. Salads, but I put chicken in it.
Yeah.
Got to have some decent dressing on it.
You got to do a little something. You got to spruce it up somehow.
Oh yeah.
All
so I can do salads for one meal a day. How do people do salads like 2 meals a day for a week or two?
I've tried. I can't. I can do it for 3 days, I think, is my max. I'd rather, you know what, I'll be honest with you. I think I'd rather juice. I like juices. I
can't do that. I gotta have some food.
All right.
Thank God I'm not a woman,
Yeah. Big week here. Big week. We got Georgia Tech minus 11 for Georgia. Georgia Tech got handled by Duke last week. What do we got here?
No shock there. What happens is usually we see Georgia Tech limps down the stretch. They don't have the depth, and look at the teams that they played that have good rushing attacks. And Miami's pretty good. In the rain, they give up 196. They give up 221 to Clemson, and then 319 last week. So they just don't have the players. They don't have good enough players. They don't have the depth. How about this? This is one of the strangest oddities. The visitor in this series is 16-2-1 against the spread.
Wow.
I'm going to say it continues. I like Georgia here. If you can't stop the run, you're not going to beat Georgia. Georgia 37-20.
Clemson's given 14 to South Carolina. Speaking of teams that simply cannot stop the run, that'd be South Carolina. I'll go with Clemson, give the 14. You say what?
Boy, there's no hesitation on your mind. Here's something strange what we've seen this year. Teams that destroyed a team the year before, they're not rolling like you think they should. Now, is Clemson 3 touchdowns better, maybe 24 points better? Yeah. I think Clemson is peaking a little bit ahead to Miami. Who nationally and down here in the South? Do they talk about anyone else really except for Miami?
Not really, no.
So these kids got to be thinking about it. When you beat a team 56-7 the year before, I remember playing in games like that. You're not watching the film that intently. Bentley was knocked out of the game last year before the half, and I got to think that he's going to be motivated in this game. Great leader. I think he got his bad game out of the system against Florida. He had some atrocious throws in that game. Good play-action quarterback. South Carolina's covered 7 straight as an underdog. I think Clemson wins 28-20, but South Carolina covers.
Wow, South Carolina keeping it close. Okay. Alabama's given 4.5 to Auburn. This game has intrigued me for weeks. I like the Auburn defense. I like the way they're playing right now. Alabama given 4.5. Who you got?
I like them, but let's look at the one team that did a number on them, and they couldn't do anything, Clemson. And we're going to find out if Alabama's defense is for real or not. And if they are, then it's going to be tough for Auburn here. Bama started quickly. They've outscored teams 253 to 43 in the first half. I don't think that Auburn can play from behind here. Bama's won and covered the last 3 in the series since that kick 6. So I think Malzahn's okay as a coach. I don't think he's great. And then look at the type of weapons that Auburn's going to have to stop. Had to face a mobile quarterback, dual-threat quarterback for Clemson. He did a number on him. Jalen Hurts, he's certainly mobile. How about this? 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's ran for almost 700 yards, has 8 touchdowns rushing. Now all of a sudden, Calvin Ridley's starting to wake up like he does every year. He's averaging almost 17 yards a catch. They got another kid, Jerry Jeudy, averaging 17 yards a catch here. I like Bama, 31-20.
31-20 for Bama, and that will cement their place in the SEC championship game. Yep. Miami's giving 13 to Pitt, who's playing better football than they did earlier in the year. I liked them to cover against Vatech. They did. Do they cover against Miami?
I don't know if they will. You know, I didn't think it was a really bright move on their part. You know, they have a kid that they think is going to be pretty good, this Kenny Pickett, and they burned his red shirt last week. I mean, burning a red shirt for 2 games? I mean, really? Mm-hmm. I thought that was a huge mistake. Now he's going to have to face Miami. I mean, if a quarterback is good, Miami's defense is going to have some trouble with him. But against a kid like this, I don't know if he's ready for this. I don't know if Miami is one of the 4 most talented teams in the country, but they have heart. They show they can come back in games. They smell the finish line now, and Pitt's got no bowl. Miami, 19 turnovers from their defense the last 5 games. You have to go back, I think it's like 35, 40 years to see some type of run like that. And visitor 21-11 the last 32 in Pitt games here. It's setting up for Miami and Clemson big. I like Miami 35-13.
Florida State and Florida, there was a stretch of time back in the 90s where obviously the whole state was excellent. And you wouldn't find really a greater rivalry beyond Florida State-Miami than Florida State-Florida. And it was something to behold how many consecutive games in which these two teams were in the top 10. Well, we're a long way from that time as these two schools find themselves at 4-6. Florida State fighting for bowl eligibility. If they get the win, along with a win next week against ULM, they will be bowl eligible and continue the longest streak in college football. They're given 5 on the road. Who you got?
I basically kind of throw out the Delaware State result here for Florida State. You know, I think that Florida, them winning that game, now obviously it helps Florida State, helps their confidence, but I think it might help Florida's winning that game last week. They used 3 different running backs, looked pretty good. I mean, some people thought UAB was decent. They ran all over them, 253 rushing yards. I don't think they're going to run all over Florida State, but do you really want to lay close to a touchdown with a team that is 0-8-1 against the spread, as is Florida State? They're ranked 1/16th in turnover margin. I think this game might and probably will come down to a field goal. In fact, I'm calling for the upset. I like Florida 24-23.
Yeah, I think it's a field goal game as well. I wouldn't lay the 5. You know what's interesting is that Florida State, because the game got moved from a normal setting, 15-minute quarters to 10-minute quarters, that their cover last week doesn't count, so they still haven't covered a spread. That's good. Well, I mean, it's just nothing but an interesting stat.
The only worse, there was a time I think Wisconsin was playing UNLV. Do you remember this game about 5, 6, 7 years ago? They were covering easy. Wisconsin, when they come into a city, they came to Vegas. They moved the line like 8 or 10 points, and they still were covering. And they cut the last quarter by like 5 or 6 minutes. It wasn't a complete game.
It's brutal.
And the Wisconsin fans just went absolutely nuts.
Yeah, you beat somebody 77-6. You'd like to think you covered, but they announced from Vegas that 10-minute quarters, you don't get to cover, you get nothing. That hurts your feelings a little bit. Louisville and Kentucky is your game of the week. Maybe only Louisville and Kentucky fans will watch this. How do folks get it, Lee?
Well, Lamar Jackson's interesting. I'll watch it for a little bit. Just call me here at 800-400-9741. Have our world's famous turkey shootout.
Yes.
This weekend. Yep, it's back. We've won 8 of the last 10 years on the turkey shootout. Had a huge weekend last week and went 9-3 from Saturday through Monday night, 7-1 on Saturday almost had a perfect 8-0 day. So you want to get involved. 15 games from Thanksgiving Day through Monday night, just $97 if you use coupon code SAVE50. Normally it's $197 and it brings it down to $147, but we priced it at $147. Use coupon code SAVE50. Just $97 for 15 games. So if you're going to the in-laws and don't love your in-laws or really need the action, we're here for you. I'll tell you a quick story. One time, I was finishing up at the University of Texas and was dating a girl in Wichita Falls, Texas, and nicest girl. But she invited me for Thanksgiving, and so I go there for Thanksgiving. They had this is 1984. They had one black and white, like maybe 19-inch TV for Thanksgiving weekend. And
I can see why you didn't marry her.
I think it lasted a day or two after Thanksgiving. It was over. I mean, it's all about, right? It's all about family, friends, food, and football.
And they had a 19-inch black and white. It was over. It was a fractured relationship at the moment. That was it. You had nothing. Lee, happy Thanksgiving.
Great-looking girl, but she and her family weren't into sports enough. So.
That's the end of that. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
You too, buddy.
All right, take care.
We'll talk next week.
All right, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, and those are your games. We'll let's take a look at these. Well, we still have a second here, Tom. He's got South Carolina covered against Clemson. I found that interesting. It raises an eyebrow. I like Clemson to win and win big there. I don't think that's a very good South Carolina team. He's got Alabama covering, and that's a game, again, that raises the eyebrow with Auburn, not because he's got Alabama to cover. I just think that's going to be a great game. I really do. That's the game that I'm most excited to watch this weekend, beyond Florida State and Florida. And Georgia Tech, Georgia big over Georgia Tech, which makes sense. Georgia Tech's leaking oil down the stretch. Gave up a ton of rushing yards to Duke. That hurts your feelings.
That will. They're a thorn in Georgia's side, though.
I have been. I didn't realize this. That's an interesting stat he gave, that the road team in this series has covered, I think they're 16-0-2 as a road cover. So Georgia's on the road. And he's going – that's a crazy streak.
That is nuts.
I don't usually – one of the arguments I make against betting trends is that I'm not betting a trend, I'm betting a game. And more importantly, something that started 2 decades ago has no relevance to what happens on Saturday.
Oh, most certainly in college football,
right,
yes.
That's what I mean. But 16-0-2 is hard to ignore. I mean, that's a hell of a trend.
Like if you say, for example, they were talking about Brady yesterday, and Brady in his last couple of meetings against Jack Del Rio prior to this weekend's game, he completed 90% of his passes. 90% of his passes.
Jesus.
Right, against that system. So you say quarterback versus system.
Right.
Yeah, that makes a difference. But in college, it's like all the players change.
Well, the players change, and a lot of times over a space of time that disparate, 18 years, they've probably had multiple coaches. So all kinds of things have happened. I mean, that streak started under O'Leary. I mean, it's... to me, I don't normally look at something like that, although it is fun to just throw out a stat like 16-0-2 on the road, covering the spread in a series. I do appreciate that he mentioned he doesn't think Miami's that great, but they've just that game last week sums it up perfectly. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're down 28-14 in the second half with their hopes and dreams on the line and a quarterback for Virginia that could do no wrong, and then he did. But prior to that, Miami went down the field to make it 28-21 and put game pressure back on Virginia. That kid forces a ball into the flats. It's pick six. Tie game. Virginia's out of it.
I got to be honest, though. I don't know how much of their hopes and dreams were on the line. If they lose that game, they win this week, and then they beat Clemson. I think there's enough from those 2 weeks that they played really good football, plus the Miami mystique, and everybody's on board, and everybody loves the hype train, that if they'd beaten Clemson and won the ACC, I think they're the representative at one loss. I think they would have made it.
So you'll have, at that point, a one-loss Big 12 champion in Oklahoma. You would have a one-loss, in this scenario that you're describing, a one-loss ACC champion.
Yeah.
You would have...
Pac-12's out of it.
They probably are out of it. Yep, they're out of it. So the Big 10 champion could very well be a two-loss Ohio State team.
Yeah, or, it could be Wisconsin. But, I mean, that doesn't seem likely, does it?
No, it's going to be interesting because I'll tell you...
Then you have the SEC 3 whittle themselves down to 1.
Here's your problem. What if Alabama lost to Auburn and finished the year at 11-1? And Auburn, who has 2 losses, goes on to face Georgia. And I don't know. I mean, Ohio State wins the Big Ten. Are you going to put a 2-loss Ohio State conference champion, Power 5 conference champion, who, by the way, got blown out not once but twice,
right,
including losing by 32 to Iowa? Are you going to put them in because you put weight on conference championships in over a 1-loss Alabama team?
No.
As a without a conference championship?
No, the answer is no. Ohio State this is the same scenario as last year. Ohio State got in with 1 loss, and they were not a conference champion.
That's right,
but they
because
were insulated.
Penn State had 2 losses.
Correct.
But Penn State, yeah.
No, I think in that sense too, even if it's a 2-loss conference champion, Ohio State against a 1-loss Miami conference champion, Miami gets the nod again.
Oh, Miami would get the nod. No, if they're a conference champion over a 2-loss Ohio State team.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 1-loss ACC champion, a 1-loss Big 12 champion to go with what? I mean,
yeah, it would have been cute, if they lost this game. But if they beat Clemson next week, and obviously they take care of Pitt. I mean, we're giving Clemson the world, and they lost to Syracuse, who is God,
it gets fascinating. What this could play out to be nightmarish. I mean, Ohio State ought not be anywhere in this conversation, and I just get a bad feeling that they are going to be, because I don't think Wisconsin's any good.
I agree, but it's one game, right? The worst thing that could happen to Wisconsin is they're playing that game indoors. They play in Indianapolis every year, do they not?
I think so, yeah. God, I care so little about the Big Ten. I'm reminded of it when you throw a question at me like that, and I'm real certain. Yeah.
So we're a field goal game, huh? He's picking the wrong team's favored.
Well, as the week has gone on, and it's only it's only early in the week on a Tuesday, but I don't feel great about Florida State's chances of going and winning this game. I think Florida's terrible, but I think they'll rise up, play well on defense. Listen, James Blackman and this offense in particular is not exactly moving the ball against anybody with a pulse.
Yeah, but the ground game, you can run on Florida. This is not Florida under Muschamp.
Yeah, but I think if I'm Florida, all I do is stack and say, beat me through the air.
I mean, Tennessee was able to, and Florida was stacking. That's Tennessee.
Man,
I don't think they've evolved and gotten better as the season's gone along.
What I'm telling you is that
South Carolina was able to run on them.
We're going to have to run the ball. I don't disagree. If I'm Florida at home, first of all, they do play better at home than they do on the road. We know that. Their statistics are amazingly different. They average against the run 2 yards better per play stopping against the run at home than they do on the road. It's nuts. For whatever reason, they lay down on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They get down, they face some adversity, they just lay down. They don't lay down at home. They've played a lot of close games at home. They've fought, and they've been in those games. And I'm just saying, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Florida State goes and is able to have great success running the ball. That's the key to the win. We agree with that. But if they aren't able to do that, and you're going to make James throw the ball in that environment.
Be interested to see what the atmosphere is like. I would bet it's hungry. I mean, they haven't beat us there since 2009. So
yeah, well, they've lost 3 straight at home to us, and that's never happened in the history of the series. So we're just adding to the lore now.
Sure. We win 5 straight. That would be nice in a first.
Yeah, sure. Lots of firsts. It'd be exciting. I just don't think we're set up to make sure that we stamp on home what should be ours, because that Florida team's terrible, but we don't move the ball. We don't move the ball against really anybody. We just don't. Delaware State doesn't count.
Yeah, but I'd say, again, of the 2 defenses, which one you like more?
I like ours.
Ours. And again, we're picking, I know it's 2, 4, and 6 teams, but clearly ours, yes?
Oh, and we've played the better schedule. And yeah, sure. No. What I'm saying is I'm picking Florida State to win, but it's a 5-point spread. I see 20-17 here. I got 17-14 here. This ain't going to be pretty. I think it's a close game in the fourth quarter.
27-10 action.
Well, I like it. I like your pick better than mine. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E Plus from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients. Naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Hey folks, Ron Vitrano here with great news for North Florida and South Georgia used car, truck, and SUV buyers. Car Gurus has named its top-rated used car dealer for 2017, Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street. Car Gurus rates each used vehicle for sale based on price and rates it as bad, fair, or a good deal. Who's the most good deals? FranksAutoWorld.com. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
It takes 4 essential ingredients to brew Bud Light: barley, rice, water, and hops. But this is a 30-second commercial. So here's the sound of barley malting. It's super quiet. Sorry. Here's to the beer you can always count on. Brewed to be America's favorite light lager. Bud Light, famous among friends. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Name is Bud. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. So we did headlines today. You won't hear it today. You'll hear it tomorrow. It'll kick ass. You'll enjoy it. It's a fun one. But we figured we would do the right thing by you this week, Florida State, Florida week, give you 3 hours, and tomorrow some content heading into the weekend. It is, after all, an all-time rivalry, an all-time great rivalry, of which we share a lot of memories and great times, some sorrow to boot. I've been kind of wrapped up in my own thoughts about the many Florida State, Florida games I've been to. Since early this morning, I woke up early, sipping on a cup of Joe Tom, stepped outside, saw that it was a little dreary, allowed for a contemplative mode to set in, and it was mostly good. It was not sad at all. It was just sort of a, man, I've been, as a fan or as a member of the media or a student, able to cover this game, cheer in this game, go to this game, view this game in some capacity for the better part of 30-plus years. And, man, there have been some all-time moments, 93 for me really kind of stands out as my favorite just because I was at the game in Gainesville, surrounded by Gators as I wore my Florida State gear. And, it's word to done. It's word to done. The place is rocking, and it's the moment you realize we're going to win the game, and it's an incredible play between two all-time greats. And as the time went by, of course, Florida State goes on to win the national championship. But as the time goes by, you appreciate that moment more because it is two Hall of Fame players, two of the greatest to ever wear the garnet and gold, to don that outfit, that uniform in that situation, hooking up at the most pivotal, I can't speak today, moments to score there. It's fantastic.
To me, and I watch this rivalry, this is the one you set your watch by it every year, as long as I can remember. I mean, I am literally saying, as long as I can remember watching sports, watching television of any kind, I can remember the Saturday after Thanksgiving and watching this game. I mean, I go back, I wore those little shut helmets, the little single bar guys, the plastic ones, and they came with a jersey, and that jersey was so uncomfortable. The material was, oh my God, it would chafe the hell out of everything. I mean, your arms, your chest, your back, and yet I didn't care. I would wear that every year as a kid. I'd sit in my little Super Mario chair and watch the game. This game mattered so very much. But, it mattered all the more in the fall of 2006, which was my first Florida State game. And I remember my family was so happy to send me off, up to Tallahassee.
Get the hell up out of here,
No,
kid.
no. They were like, all right, you're taking part in it because it was a family tradition.
It's for the Florida Cup.
We'd have 15 to – good Lord. We'd have 15 to 20 people in my house growing up every year for this game. I mean, the Sugar Bowls and obviously the regular season games. But it took on a different meaning, obviously, when I came up here and I saw my first one in person. And that was a sleepy noon kick on a Saturday in 2006, perfect weather. We had the field position, and we just couldn't beat them. That was the year they ended up going to win a national title as Chris Leak, and Tebow was their situational quarterback. And in turn, watching all of those defeats in person made 2010 and the sequence of sniffing out the fake punt and then ponder to Rodney Smith the very next play on the way to a 31-7 win. That will forever be my favorite day in this rivalry.
It is amazing that from 2004, you're talking about a time where you were immersed in that, and we're looking at the lost decade. 2004 began a great streak for Florida where they were able to take home 6 straight, and it was it was a miserable time as a Noel. And you go to that game, 21-14, we had a chance to win that.
We had field position. I mean, we were starting around our 35, 40-yard line every possession. We had them pinned back. We had all the leverage in the world in that game.
And then there were just no illusions about what was going to happen moving forward. Their thorough beatdowns, this is the sympathy knee and all the stuff that occurs after that from Urban Meyer in Florida, and they 45-12 and 45-15, just ass-kickings after ass-kickings. And you went into the stadium knowing it was going to be that way. But since that time, since 2010, we've won every game but one. And to go back and note that 31-7, 21-7, then you lose 37-26 in a game you should have won if it's not for E.J. Manuel, and then you win 37-7, then you win 24-19, 27-2. They should have been shut out. We all know that. 31-13 a year ago. This has been an all-time run for Florida State, and an opportunity now to win 5 straight.
We were talking yesterday, and you feel a little bit run down by the season. Obviously, Delaware State doesn't do anything for you. And I think I was mentioning tunnel vision, and Jimbo Fisher has tunnel vision at this point. Well, and I felt it too, and I'm sure you could hear it. We all feel it right now. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that this is the final live show of the week. But, I'm fired up. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do for the next 3 days because it's just going to be a hurry up and wait kind of thing. But, I can remember what it felt like to walk into Doak to see this game for the first time with my own eyes. And I was so friggin' fired up for it, and we weren't good. I mean, it was 06. We weren't any good. We had a chance to win that day, but we weren't a good football team.
Well, it's a lot of fun when you go just to see – when you see the garnet and gold and you see the blue and orange, man.
But that's what it speaks to. It speaks to how special this rivalry really is, and it's been one of the cornerstone fibers of my sporting life for now 25 years.
Well, okay, so you go all the way back. I can remember, so in 1990, I'm at the 45-30 game in Tallahassee, which is a fun game. It's crazy. At night, the whole thing. It's a great night for football, and that place was absolutely electric. And That's probably one of my very favorite memories, too. I was also at 14-9 the following year in Gainesville with Casey Weldon at quarterback, and my dad was deathly ill. I mean, green, sitting in the stands. In 1991, when we played that game and lost to them 14-9, do you know who we played the previous week?
Miami? Yeah.
What kind of dumbassery was going on back then? Anyhow, lost that game, lost any chance at a national title, and played that way the next week. Two great defenses, and anyhow, Casey Weldon was game. He was tough. He hung in there. We had a chance at the end. But my dad was this weird color of green. Why do I say that? I say that because I can do the following year in 92 when Florida State wins 45-24, and I'm over there with my buddy Steven. And anyhow, so I can think of moments in every one of these games, what I was doing, who I was with, what the circumstances were that were unique. Obviously, in 94, the year after the great game in 93 that I talk about, the 33-21 game, you have the choke-a-doke in 94. And I'm at that game with my father. And a lot of people left that game, obviously. And I think a lot of people understandably left that game. But then that's Steve Spurrier's arrogance. And he wants to throw and throw and throw when you could run out the clock running the football, but he doesn't do it. And Florida State's making plays and getting Florida off the field, and yet he still refuses to stop throwing the football, and you get the Colsey interception. One of the greats of all time. You're a kid crying, walking outside, you told me earlier today, and had to get called back into the house as the comeback is on.
Real quick, I think I had dyslexia of the mind. Maybe it was Hutch. Hutch was the helmet and the brand for the kids stuff. But I was wearing that stuff that day, and I was 7 going on 8 years old at that point. I'm crying my eyes out because we're supposed to win that game or be very much in that game. And I told you, man, as a kid, this is probably why I got into sports media. I just loved, even though it was a pro Gator paper, still is, reading the Tampa Bay Times, the St. Pete Times. And
they're all Florida journalism grads.
Well, and they did the breakdowns, and they gave the check mark where they put the helmet on the side of the team who was, favored to win offensive line, defensive line, all that stuff. I mean, people still do matchup stuff now, but there was something about opening the paper every year and figuring out which team they're going to pick to win, and I look at the prediction, and that would make me mad or sad or happy or whatever. And then I watched the game, and it's funny. Max Kellerman once said, every highlight you remember watching on television, even when there was an HD, is in HD. It feels like the game. I can remember watching this game and being so distraught that, yes, I start crying, and I decide to go outside and play hockey just to work the steam off a little bit. And my youngest sister, Amy, comes out about an hour and a half later and says, they're coming back. And I said, no, they're not. Don't be mean.
Don't do that.
You know how much this game means to me.
So
don't be mean. She said, no, I'm serious. They're coming back. So I go in, and it's 31-24, and then Preston scores the tying touchdown, and he takes off his helmet. I mean, I can remember all of that. It was just, and then we obviously have the ball. If the freaking judge can spot the ball a little bit earlier, maybe we have a chance to go down and win the football game. But I could just remember so many moments, the Sugar Bowl. And the unique thing about last year, which was pretty cool, was that the game was played at night at Doak. It hadn't been played at night at Doak in decades.
So, yeah, no, you're right. It hadn't been. By the way, you brought up the follow-up to that because it's twice in that year that you end up playing Florida after that tie, 31-all, and the uniqueness of being able to break that tie. Well, the aforementioned buddy Steven, who's an FSU Film School graduate, we were in school at the same time, I'm going with him to New Orleans to meet my father for the rematch, and everybody there, it seemed like, as we walked Bourbon Street and had the fun that we, God, for a I'm basically a kid back then. You're used to me in my 40s.
Sure.
And I'm basically, listen, I'm 22 years old then. I'm going over there, and I've got to go to the world-famous Pat O'Brien's. I got to go to all these places that I've only heard of. Right?
That was your first time?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm 22 years old. I'd never been to New Orleans.
The fifth quarter was your first time in New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, first time old enough to drink and to see anything and do anything. So, first time that I could go into a bar and experience Bourbon Street. The flavors, the music, the people, the uniqueness of the culture in New Orleans. Now, most of that is found outside of Bourbon Street, frankly. The true New Orleans is not about Bourbon Street, although that is a nice little pocket of fun that, listen, you get a glimpse. The music and the food there is so incredible. The people are incredible. It's like no other city in America. Anyhow, but I had never really been, and I go and meet my dad at Pat O'Brien's, and it's cold. And I remember walking down the street, and people were wearing buttons that were wildly inappropriate that said F Florida, basically.
Oh, man, those things, the T-shirt game back in those days was so offensive.
Sinister.
But awesome.
Sinister. Yeah. Florida fans were wearing F FSU, and
Yeah.
we just would pass each other and smile and wave, both wearing FU shirts.
Yeah.
Like it was just normal.
No, I remember it was like my sister Elizabeth, who was going to school in the early 90s. At the time, she was smuggling drugs across the border or something to get, inappropriate T-shirts home.
Oh, yeah.
And we would laugh about them, hide them, and wear them. And yeah.
Oh, I had the Beavis and Butthead shirt where the spear is going through the ibis, and it said, fire, fire.
Yeah.
I had all those, yeah.
I remember that
Oh,
shirt.
it was a great shirt, yeah. And Beavis is standing up
There's
going,
one,
fire,
the
fire.
ibis is flying through the uprights, and it says, "We just kicked your, bleepity bleep."
Oh, a nice tie with the Florida, it's like a noose. It's a tie. Yeah. Oh, those existed forever. Yeah. Well, that was back when getting those kinds of T-shirts was cool and something that everybody did. People really don't do it much anymore.
No.
Like game day shirts, because we're out there welcome. But it was a very 90s thing.
Very college 90s thing.
Very
Yes.
college 90s thing. But everybody had them. Adults did it too. It was great. Yes, so that's what this series elicits for us and for you and for the people listening to this saying, good, thank you for talking about this all-time great series.
And my brother-in-law, quickly, he's a Florida State grad. He loves Florida State first, but he grew up a USC fan. And so USC, UCLA.
From California?
Yeah. He was, Orange County, man.
Nice.
Just where we were, where the people were telling us about.
Gotcha.
And he said one of his favorite shirts, and this is not terrible, but it's funny.
A little edgy.
It's a Trojan sitting on a toilet, and he's in the thinking man pose.
Right.
And then on the back of the shirt it says a Bruin is born.
Oh man.
But that was that era.
Yeah. That was gallows humor.
Yeah.
Potty mouth.
Absolutely.
The whole deal. Good stuff. And really simple. And we all would go, oh, that's great. I should get that.
Wow.
Why?
Right. Yeah. But in the moment at a tailgate, you drop $10 on that.
Well, it's just like being at a concert for a band you like, but you're not in love with, and then you've had a few, and you get caught up in the moment. I'll buy that $32 concert shirt. That's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
Right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
ESPN Radio SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, NFC North leading Vikings staying with Case Keenum as their starting quarterback. Coach Mike Zimmer confirming Keenum starts Thursday against the Lions. Minnesota's won 6 straight with him playing. ESPN's Louis Riddick.
Case Keenum keeps playing like this. I mean, the past 2 weeks, his stats have exploded. Yards per attempt are just going off the charts. And the accuracy is there, too. And that's a dangerous combination. And the third part of this is the fact that this guy is making plays outside the pocket and with his feet in a way that, I'm just telling you, Sam Bradford didn't give him.
Steelers rookie Juju Smith-Schuster dealing with a small hamstring injury that the team will monitor this week. He's second on the Steelers in TD receptions and receiving yards. Fourth college football playoff rankings of the season released tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Not any changes expected at the top. Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Oklahoma currently in the top 4. NBA, Warriors forward Kevin Durant dealing with a sprained ankle. Questionable tomorrow against his former team, the Thunder, 8 Eastern on ESPN TV. Durant fully practiced today, is still experiencing slight soreness in the ankle.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You do that thing where you're watching a football game. I was watching last night, and as I was watching, I couldn't help but note it felt like those two teams cared more than I've ever seen two teams care to play a football game outside of the playoffs or the Super Bowl. And obviously it might very well be the recognition of time is of the essence, placing playoff chase. That from the start were two teams that decided – if you're going to tote the ball tonight, you're getting hit. It's going to happen. People flying to the football. It looked like, I don't know if it was the camera angle, Tom. Sometimes this happens. It looked like everybody was running faster than everybody else that was playing football on Sunday, like the day before. It was nuts.
Well, Monday Night Football likes to zoom in a little bit more than another broadcast. I think that might be part of it.
Well, you got a real sense of the violence, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, that was not for the timid last night.
Well, I think there's a lot of layers to it. One, the desperation. I think that's the biggest one. The desperation for both teams knowing that, this is a tiebreaker game. 2,
that's correct.
Neither of us are likely winning our division, so if we're in a wild card tie head-to-head, we have to beat each other. There's the Dan Quinn, Seattle element to it, too, I think.
Sure.
I think there's also the element that if you're Atlanta going on the road to Seattle, the reputation for that place speaks for itself, and you have to be ready to go because it's Monday night, and it's Seattle, and that place is going to be as raucous as any place in football next to Kansas City. I mean, you really can't name any more than Seattle. So I just think there was a lot of desperation and will with any number of storylines, and so that's why you saw what you saw.
Well, when you watch the ends of plays, and we talk about NFL players' willingness to sacrifice their body, their future mobility, perhaps their brain in some cases, unfortunately. This game personified that. Watching the ends of plays, guys flying off your screen and guys coming up to lay the lumber at the end of plays right on the borderline of, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they were out for blood last time.
Yeah, the unique thing about this is, you're right, it's not a division rivalry game.
No.
Seattle, San Francisco had that for 2 or 3 good years.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Pittsburgh had it for the better part of a decade.
You and I sitting up at Corner Pocket watching some of those Baltimore-Pittsburgh games when they would be on. We'd go do Monday night or Sunday night football, and I remember a few times remember that Marvin Lewis hit? I mean, not Marvin Lewis. Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Oh,
yes.
The Ray Lewis hit is an all-time where we go, ooh.
He also had one against the Jets against Jeremy Curley.
That's true. There's 2 of those, that were just fearsome.
There was a game last year, too, and it's a rivalry, but, it's not quite the same. But week 2, watching Packers and Vikings, is Sunday night game in Minnesota. Holy bleep.
Yeah, guys were out for blood.
I mean, that was
yes.
Well, you tell. You can know.
You know instantly.
You tell within a drive or
decided,
2.
This is it. We're balling tonight.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it's one thing I really appreciate in a moment. You can find veteran players that truly love the game and live for the moments where they recognize that things have been ratcheted up from an intensity standpoint in games like this, and they ain't coming out. Like, those are the same guys late in their careers when it's a nothing game and 2 teams aren't playing real well and they don't really believe, and even though it's a rivalry, they kind of going through the motions, that they'll check out. They'll check out because their body's already been through the ringer, and they're not going to give you everything you got. When they realize that the other side has decided tonight's a night, you better raise your level. You got to get here because we're balling tonight. They will match, and you get glimpses of what was. You get those moments. Like Sanu last night, and that guy is playing fearlessly, making big plays and throwing his body in danger. Jimmy Graham last night, who's not famous for wanting to go across the middle and wear contact, does in a big moment. You heard Gruden talk about it. By the way, Gruden had to catch himself last night. So Graham goes over the middle where he knows he's going to get crushed, and he's just a year and a half removed from that patella injury, which was devastating. And he goes there to sacrifice his body on the 1-yard line to set them up. And Gruden goes, good to see Jimmy Graham go in there and catch the ball like a man that he used to be. He caught himself. Like he was worried how that would play.
Sure.
And like a man that he used to be. Like just the way that he threw that in there cracked me up. I'm like, he instantly had the PC police in his head.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like, better say it.
I may have leaked my true intentions.
It was great. It was just great. Anyhow, I think everybody recognized, including the broadcast crew, early, the boys are out for blood tonight. All right, we've got us the drama that we desperately want. That game was awesome.
There are times, too, when it happens and you go, whoa, are you kidding me? This team's going to rise up today
you
and
want
play
to play like this?
Right,
Why are you playing like this?
That's always when your team is good or your team needs a break and they're playing.
You can use a rest.
Yes. And that's where a segue to Thanksgiving Day, because the Lions, by and large, play their asses off every Thanksgiving.
Well, it's tradition, man.
They come up short more than they don't. But you can, so we're watching the Vikings game on Thursday. It's Vikings-Lions, and there's a lot on the line here. I mean, Minnesota hasn't clinched the division. They've got 8 wins, but the remaining schedule is a little dicey for the next few weeks. So if the Lions win this game, they might still have an outside shot to win the North. So this game is going to be hotly contested, even though it's on a super short week, an unfair short week. I mean, good Lord. Think about it, too, with Dallas. They play a Sunday night game, and then they have to turn around and play on Thursday.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
It's a total joke. But Detroit always shows up in short on Thanksgiving, and they could be playing the Packers at the height of their power. And it's going to come down to a couple of key moments in the second half because they'll rise up and decide on this day it shall not stand, man.
Pat Summerall, that's all I think about when I think about Thanksgiving Day football. And any of the games, it's just Pat Summerall. It's that voice. For years, I thought about Dallas. Of course, you think about Detroit. Comes to mind that you think about Green Bay often on a Thursday game. But yeah, for years, it's Pat Summerall, and it makes me smile thinking about it now.
Yeah, I think every year it should just be Detroit hosting Green Bay, and then Washington heading out to Dallas. To me, that feels just about right for Thanksgiving.
Some of my memories as a kid is that of the Dallas Cowboys, Washington, matchup. So often it felt like when you're really little, and when I was really little, I've said this before, I was a Dallas fan before the Bucs really got going. You invest your emotions that in a really unhealthy way. It's like it's everything to you that your team win an NFL football game. When you get older, the perspective that comes with realizing that they can go 11-5, they can go 10-6, they can go 9-7 and win a Super Bowl. Like you could barely be above average. You could be middling and find your way at the right time into the postseason, getting hot and winning championships. But when you're a kid, it never felt that way. It felt like it was all on the line, especially in the famed rivalry games of the NFL. And Dallas-Washington, for the longest time, was the best rivalry in the NFL. It was better than Green Bay-Chicago or Green Bay-Minnesota or Chicago-Minnesota. It was just better than every other rivalry.
I watched the Bucs as a kid during the good times, during the rise to prominence, and I could tell you that I felt the urgency of every week. But there was something about the measuring stick, too. That
Bucs-Packers was huge for a while.
I mean, that was one of the games of the year.
Always.
The Bucs were in the mix for 2 or 3 out of the top 5 games of the year because they play the Packers in the late 90s, early 2000s. It'd be them and the Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
Those were always classic matchups.
The work-done game, yeah.
The work-done Monday night game. They had another great Monday night game where Brooks takes it back and runs to the tunnel because he's hurt, and Warren Sapp points at Kurt Warner and blows his ass up on the way into the end zone. But, I mean, those Packers games were huge. There was one where we forfeited home field advantage because Grammatica couldn't make a kick.
Point blank.
And then the Minnesota games when Minnesota was really good with, obviously Carter and Moss.
We're going to play this game.
But if you didn't win those games as a kid, it felt like, if we can't beat them, then we're never going to climb to where we want to go.
Well, and then eventually that all became, I feel like a river runs through it here. Eventually all things lead into one, merge into one. I'm thinking about it. Eventually, with the Brad Johnson years, it was, we got to beat Philadelphia. If you can't beat Philadelphia, this is ridiculous. And he's out there on a broken rib.
Right. It could be week 3, but still what it meant.
You got to beat Philadelphia.
The mental hurdle that you had to clear.
I don't know if it's age or the Bucs ceased to matter for a long time.
The NFC South thing hurt, too. I
think it really did.
That division
But it never made sense that we were in the division we were in. Why were we in a division with the Packers, Bears, and Vikings? What the hell? That made no damn sense whatsoever. But
I totally agree that we should never have been in that division.
But we were.
But it doesn't feel the same in the South. Like I can't stand Atlanta. That's great and all. But
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's annoying
they
too.
can go to hell. I'm indifferent about New Orleans.
It felt more regal to play, the Vikings and the Packers, go on the road to Soldier Field every year.
I had a blast going to Bucs-Bears games back in the day. I remember upsetting the Bears for a game where they were really, really good in Tampa Stadium, the old sombrero, and being there for that and going, what in the world? We beat the Bears?
Holding your damn breath every time we played Barry Sanders because his whole highlight reel is against Creamsicle.
That I'm glad we didn't. No, that was
But we
awful.
did, okay, but we exercised the demons by beating them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they weren't any good then.
In
But
97.
I will also tell you this, by the way. I mean, John Lynch never wants to look upon Barry Sanders again because how many times was he just brutalized by Barry Sanders? More so than other people. I feel like there's 17 shots or slow motion replays of Barry Sanders humiliating John Lynch. Almost the way Carolina humiliated Barber over and over again.
John Lynch overrated because he's white?
No, John Lynch was great.
Okay.
John Lynch was incredible.
I can remember the end of his career, and it was fine, but, the formative years.
No, he was awesome.
And I didn't watch football the same way I watch it now.
John Lynch benefited from the fact that he was on a great defense, as all great defenders do when they're on great defenses because they're free to run. Moreover, he benefited from a time where the rules hadn't changed.
Right. Everybody said Ronnie Lott, every broadcaster. He's just like Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, well, Ronnie Lott was better. But what I will tell you is Ronnie Lott was on a great defense and benefited from it and benefited that he played at a time where you could do virtually anything you wanted when you hit a receiver or you closed in on anybody for that matter. They started to change the rules at the end of John Lynch's career.
Yeah, he knocked out his brother-in-law.
Well, he wouldn't have made it. It would not have, he would have been kicked out of the league. Because he was a missile. He sacrificed his body in a way that very few are willing to do. Still has his intelligence, which is shocking.
Yeah, he's a dirty player. By today's standards?
But by today's standards, that's true. But he was not by the old standards. Because I can name 20 safeties that would be considered that way.
Sure.
And they simply weren't back then. And that's the way that's the way I learned to play the game. I mean, I wanted to hit like John Lynch. I wanted to come up and fire off into somebody standing around a pile and hit somebody's ribs and send a message.
But I can think definitely of 2 different occasions in the last 2 or 3 years when he's the analyst for Fox saying you can't use your helmet as a weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, John.
Well,
you got to qualify that.
But I don't this is another debate for another time. I don't think guys of that era necessarily used their helmet as a weapon, and that is to say they didn't lead. They also didn't really worry about getting their head around.
Yeah.
It's a little semantics.
He was over the line by today's standards. There's no question.
No. Everybody is by today's standards. Listen, the most famous defenders in NFL history would have been thrown out of the league inside of 2 years if we're going to go by everybody's standards today. There's no way Dick Butkus could play in today's league. Not only physically would he not be able to play in today's league, but moreover, that dude forearmed people's necks on every hit. Can you imagine him now? Larry Zonka, who once did get a penalty for unnecessary roughness as a running back, he wouldn't have been able to play today.
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy.
Oh, Mickey Andrews' defense would have
they're all
targeting left and right.
They're all thrown out of the game. Sissified. Final hour forthcoming.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue-bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Refreshment Services Pepsi announces that Josh Strickland has been chosen Employee of the Month. His hard work and willingness to help wherever he's needed make him a true team player, and that reflects the true spirit of Pepsi. Congratulations, Josh.
What's on the menu at your home tonight?
Overly ambitious dinner.
There's nothing like trying a complicated recipe after a long day.
Overly ambitious dinner.
Wow, that looks nothing like the picture. If you like eating dinner at 9:45 at night, then you should try
Overly ambitious dinner.
That dinner will always be there, but Taco Bell's rolled chicken tacos are only here for a limited time. Shredded chicken, all rolled up with your choice of dip. At participating locations.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knolls to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knolls. License number CAC 057652.
This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, NFC North leading Vikings staying with Case Keenum as their starting quarterback. Coach Mike Zimmer confirming Keenum starts Thursday against the Lions. Minnesota's won 6 straight with him playing. ESPN's Louis Riddick.
Case Keenum keeps playing like this. The past 2 weeks his stats have exploded. Yards per attempt are just going off the charts, and the accuracy is there too, and that's a dangerous combination. And the third part of this is the fact that this guy is making plays outside the pocket and with his feet in a way that, I'm just telling you, Sam Bradford didn't give him.
Steelers rookie Juju Smith-Schuster dealing with a small hamstring injury that the team will monitor this week. He's second on the Steelers in TD receptions and receiving yards. Fourth college football playoff rankings of the season released tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Not any changes expected at the top. Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Oklahoma currently in the top 4. NBA, Warriors forward Kevin Durant dealing with a sprained ankle. Questionable tomorrow against his former team, the Thunder, 8 Eastern on ESPN TV. Durant fully practiced today, is still experiencing slight soreness in the ankle.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. A fine lawn maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Also, you can find us on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the show. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app for mobile devices. We're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee there. By the way, Florida State, Florida this week. You can just get a feel for how big the game is. Beth Mowens going to call the action between Florida State and Florida, to be joined by Anthony Beck, who does a good job, and Rocky Boyman. There you go.
Rocky was on the sideline for our loss to NC State earlier this year, and he and Beck were actually the two of them were. What am I talking about? And it was Benetti, I think, was doing the play-by-play.
He's good.
And they were on my connection from here to Atlanta on my way up to Minnesota, and those are two giant dudes, but Beck is different.
Oh, that's a monster, right? He's a really good tight end in the league.
That dude wouldn't fit in coach. I mean, he had to be in first class. He has no choice. He must be in first class.
Classic. So anyhow, that's where we're at. I mean, I'm not trying to besmirch that broadcast team, but obviously that's not the A team. That's not the 1 team or the 2 or the 3 or the 4 or the 6 or the 9. You've got, that's what you got.
It wasn't too long ago that Fowler and Herbstreit asked for the 3:30 assignment to call our game here when Jameis was, a redshirt sophomore.
Right. Yeah.
They said, screw the 8 o'clock. Let's call the 3:30.
I'm opting in. I got to see it. Take me to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at 88,000 strong. Let's get it on. So, speaking of which, Florida State, Florida on the season. Scoring offense, 97th for Florida State, 108th for Florida, 24 points a game for the Noles, 22 for the Gators. Scoring defense, Florida State 41st, Florida 63rd. How about that drop-off from Will Muschamp's guys to where we are now? Rushing offense, Florida State 92nd in the country. Florida's 69th.
Nice.
Rushing defense, Florida State, I said, is 47th in the country. They've been pretty good, pretty decent. 60th for Florida. Florida State passing offense, 86th in the land. Florida, 102nd. These two monsters getting together, Tom Lang. Look at these two guys. Hey, passing defense, Florida State's 32nd in the country. Florida's 36th. Not throwing the rock around, buddy. Not throwing the rock around there.
6-1.
Total offense, Florida State 109th, Florida 108th. I think I said earlier 109th, 110th, but it's 109, 108.
Oh, who's counting? They both stink.
Yeah. Total defense, Florida State 30th, Florida 38th. So, we got some things. So very similar to one another.
We played a bear of a schedule, though. We played the top 3 teams in the country, according to the college football playoff.
Yeah, we have. Florida State is 17-2 against teams from the state of Florida under Jimbo Fisher. He has had himself some success. That second loss coming this year. Don't make it a third, Jimbo. Come on now. We got to keep the streak alive.
That's one too many. We're going to have to tell you goodbye. 3 losses.
Again, another topic. It's happened time and again. I've been on a couple of shows. It was brought up in headlines, which you'll hear tomorrow. It was brought up on the War Chant Report. It's been brought up on the message boards. It's brought up on Twitter. It's in our inbox. Should Jimbo Fisher come forth and note that he has no interest in the Texas A&M job that he's being rumored for? And I understand why he wouldn't, because it's a very easy fallback, by the way. I don't discuss jobs that aren't available, that are currently occupied. And I think that's a respectful way of going about it, because Kevin Sumlin still occupies the position of head coach at Texas A&M, and it's an easy out for a coach. I mean, you can say that you have no interest, but that might not be true. You can say any number of things, but if a job is currently occupied, you don't discuss jobs that aren't open.
What do you think about the fledgling talking point that, if Auburn is to lose to Alabama this weekend, that Malzahn would consider Arkansas, and therefore Jimbo Fisher would be atop the list for Auburn out of nowhere?
Yeah, I just don't know at this point what could compel, or what would it take to compel Jimbo Fisher to leave Florida State. I think what gets lost in the talking points here is just how good a job this is. Florida State is one of the premier jobs in all the country. It's a better job than Auburn. I think when you're mired in a bad year and some frustrating times, you can lose sight as a fan, and maybe even as a coach, of just how good a job Florida State is. This, to me, is a pretty big hiccup, annoying as it is, disconcerting as it is, worthy of our focus and attention, surely. But it doesn't discount that this is just maybe, a hiccup brought on by a lot of circumstances, some of which are his fault, some of which are not, but easily fixable in the sense that they got good players. During the lost decade, it felt a little bit more overwhelming because you didn't have good players. The recruiting had really fallen off. You were behind in the facilities game. You weren't modern in your approach to practice or the way you went about your business of building a program. So there was a lot to undo and relearn and to teach and to just overcome. Starting with the most important thing, a talent deficiency. This is not that. This is not a place where, let's say, for example, that he did leave. This isn't a place, to me, if I were one of those coaches who would put my name in the hat for this job, I would do so for a lot of reasons, one of which is it's one of the best jobs in the country. But secondly, I could be looked upon as a genius because I could walk in right away and go, well, good Lord, I've got potential All-Americans everywhere.
Well, I think that's part of the fundamental difference right now between this job and the opening in Gainesville. You've got to get players first. Yeah. They're not up to standard.
No.
That roster is not up to standard, which is why, I feel okay about this weekend. And I think the right team is favored, even though we're on the road. Man, our two deep, I got you. A lot of them are injured, especially on offense right now. That line is hurt, and those are the guys that really could help us the most and could have helped change things. Quarterback 2, if he was here and he was participating and was committed and all that kind of stuff. We see what DeAndre could have been, which is an upgrade over what we have now, which is a kid learning on the job and failing on the job at times and succeeding fewer times than he's failing at the moment. But you just look at that too deep and you compare this situation to many others.
Yeah, it's a good situation.
Yes.
It's a good situation.
Which makes it all the more appalling what's happened this year. But at the same time, if you're cold-blooded, someone else who's looking at this job and, hey, they have an opening?
Oh my God.
Hell yes.
You know how many coaches, some that might surprise people from outside this area, who would be interested in this job that currently sit in great jobs? Oh, I'm telling you, some of the biggest names in college football, if they were told behind the scenes, Florida State's coming available. I know you're happy here at name your big-time school, but if they're interested, would you want me to talk? Now I'm Sexton, right? Would you want me to talk to them? I'm telling you, some of the names would really stun you. I think they'd be big-time names at prominent programs across the country because it is a preeminent job. It's a job where you settle in and you hunker down and you don't look to move. Are there better jobs in the country? Yeah, but ain't many. You can count them on one hand. So I would tell you that, and by the way, there's always going to be a place that in the moment has better facilities than you because they built theirs after you built yours and they one-upped you. And then you build a new one and you one-up them and then they do that. That's how the game's played. So at any given time, there's a university or two out there that have more recently upgraded. So you can play that game about, well, Jeff, these three schools have better facilities and have moved ahead. Well, okay, for now, Florida State's going to invest and continue to do what they've always done, which is be right at the forefront along with a certain other handful of universities, maybe 10, that seek to do that year to year. Again, I don't think he goes anywhere. I don't really know why he would, unless he believes that something is fundamentally broken here or the relationships that he has or that have become fractured can't be mended. That's the only way.
Or the money is $2 or $3 million more per season and he has as much security in the new contract as he would here.
I guess.
I mean if somebody comes at him for 8 because that's what it takes to get him to leave here, and the world says, well, you've overpaid for him. Well, he doesn't care if they've overpaid.
No, I get it. I just don't know when is enough. When do you reach enough? $40 million guaranteed pays for you, your family, their family, and their family's family, and their family's family if you want it to. It's $40 million guaranteed. That's a commitment, an overwhelming commitment by the university. I don't.
Yeah, but it's not enough. I mean, he's already said that about facilities, that it's not enough.
Well,
he's going to push to continue. And listen,
but
that's where he needs
he
to be.
wanted more money this year. I mean, he has talked about facilities, and I think all coaches will continue to talk about facilities because they're always going to want new facilities. That's just, I bet you Dabo in a year suggests that they need to do more.
Well, 15 or 20, whatever it would have been a couple of years ago wasn't enough. They teased it up. You know what I'm saying?
An agent's going to do what an agent's going to do if he thinks he can get more money. I just believe at some point that, it starts to get to be silly. It's phony money. It's like Monopoly. I mean, how many more zeros? It's just another zero. I mean, what do you...
Why take a raise ever if you're him after you get to $4 or $5 million a year?
Exactly. I mean, you would.
But he's going to.
Well,
I mean, they're going to leverage it. If we win 10 games next year, 11 games, and here's LSU. They're firing Coach O. Here we go again.
No, I think you can be at a place where they show a level of commitment that then requires you show reciprocity. I think you would have to show at some point your commitment to them because they've overwhelmingly taken care of you. At some point, you would say, okay.
Agreed, but then he would have already said that he's not interested in the job.
But the job's not open. He doesn't have to say it.
But we all know what's going on.
No, but he doesn't.
He can say, I'm not going anywhere. I don't care where I'm tied to.
Well, now that part...
If you're following the logic to its conclusion
I'm saying is the easy out for him, for those that are looking to say that he should have already said something by now, he doesn't have to. The job's not available. And all he should do in that situation is say, I don't speak about jobs that are occupied by other coaches. I wouldn't want that done to me, and It's disrespectful, and I'm not going to do that.
Right, but now you're having fun with the current circumstance.
I don't even think that's we don't listen. We assume maybe that they're going to fire Kevin Sumlin.
If it's monopoly money and they've committed to us and committed to Jimbo the whole thing, then he should say, "Listen, don't even put my name in the hat, guys."
But here's why you don't do that. And I have always said that you listen to offers. You do listen to offers. Because maybe somebody is bat bleep crazy enough, and it's not $3 million, Tom, more. It's $10 million more. Maybe somebody's crazy enough to tell you we want to pay you $12 million a year. We're that desperate. We're that kind of Looney Tunes. We got more money than sense. There are universities out there.
But that's not $10 million more. It's $6 million more.
What I'm saying, my point is, it's not offering $8 million per. It's offering $12 million per or $15 million per. It's something like that where. It's absurd, the difference between the 5 he's getting now and then that offer. If you make 5.6 and somebody offers you 8, that listen. Yes, it a raise. Is it easy for me to sit here and say I'm turning down the extra $2 million? $4 million. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
No state tax in Texas either, so these dollars are equal.
But what I am telling you is if I'm making 5 and somebody offers me 15, you're right. Everybody's got a price. Maybe I got to consider the extra $10 million per.
Right.
But
they commit to you facilities, the whole nine?
They're committing facilities here. This is a misnomer. The idea that they're not
perpetuated by us.
No, right. They're not going to not do the football-only facility. That's what's always upset me about this is that's not an issue. It's not something he's been told they're not going to do. Nobody from that administration has said we're not doing that. That's not how this has happened.
Agreed. He's made it an issue. He himself has made it an issue.
Yeah, well, that's why we resented that he did that. That's why we said, why are you doing that?
Where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? What place does that come from? It comes from a place of displeasure with the administration.
Well, I think it comes from a place of constantly wanting more and believing that having extra is always going to be your competitive advantage, and coaches are always in tune with that, and when they get the opportunity to fit it in somewhere, they do. I almost think it's almost like automatic filler. You know how we have crutches, and then you try to eliminate those crutches? As a broadcaster, we all have them, and we only really note them when we go back and listen to the show, and we go, God, well, I say this a lot. Why do I do that? That's a terrible transition. I bet you that's his crutch. It's just a fallback. We need better facilities.
Okay.
But now
fair
listen,
enough. I disagree because you hear the way he said it to Gene on the call-in show, man. There's something turning underneath, and to me,
well, I think he wanted specifically a standalone, something different from more.
Correct.
He wanted something more, and they said we can't do it. We don't have the land
or the funds at the moment.
Well, that they're going to get the funds. And that just like they got the funds for the practice facility and just everything else that he's wanted, they've gotten. But what he wanted in the moment was yes, because they all want yes. And he didn't get yes unequivocally. He got, okay, listen, here's what we can do. We'll add more.
Right. So he runs to the media that he loathes and uses them as a platform and leverage to put pressure on the university, which is such a small and petty move.
Well, it's what coaches do, though. And I agree. I don't like it. But it's what coaches do, and they do it everywhere. So I'll live with that. He's just one of the many guys that's doing what all those other coaches do in the modern game, and money's ruined everything to begin with. I got you. But that ship has sailed. We're not watching Ivy League football, so they're going to keep doing it.
Sure.
And it's annoying as all hell, and it does show at times.
I don't think that comes from a place where he has a professional disagreement with the administration. I think that comes from a place where he's vehemently angry, and the context clues of who he is.
Well, he's angry because they're losing. I think that is all born out of losing football games. This year has been brutal on him. And I also think, in addition to losing football games, being confronted with the reality that I've got to fire my friends is very, very difficult. I think that has worn on him. I think you could see it physically.
Do you buy that he would have fired his friends earlier if the university ponied up money for different assistants?
No. I don't think that has anything to do with it. He's not going to fire his assistants in season. And
not now. I mean, preseason, perhaps before this season, perhaps a couple of times along the way. I think there's something to the idea that he wanted to get different people in here, but the university, after Pruitt left, it took so long for Charles Kelly to be named the defensive coordinator.
Right.
He wanted more money to get a different coach. I think he still holds the administration responsible for that.
Well, because he whiffed after going to bat for a guy that they eventually did hire and then doubled down.
I'm not saying that he's in the right. I'm telling you where he's coming from. He doesn't see that part of it. He sees that
he better
we'd
see
be
that
in a
part
better
of it
place if the university cut him a blank check.
Well, good luck. I mean, there aren't too many. If that were the case, Texas would be the best job of all time, and they don't win anything. And they've got blank checks.
I think we agree here. All I'm saying is I'm coming from the place where his head's at and why Texas A&M might be attractive to him as potentially a better job because they're willing to cut him a blank check so he walks from here to there.
Oh, man. Okay. I mean,
if they say we'll give you a $3 million raise and anything you want, facilities-wise, infrastructure-wise, we're going to carte blanche, man.
Man, you know who's got great facilities? Better facilities than Florida State? Better facilities than almost any school in the country? Arkansas. I invite everybody to go online. Go look at Arkansas's facilities. What the hell is Arkansas doing? Man, that ain't the deal. That's not the deal. It helps, but it's just one piece of the pie. It's not as simple as that. This season isn't the result of facility problems.
You and I both agree on that.
Well, he's got to know that. And when he takes a step back, when this season is over, he'll know that they didn't lose to Boston freaking College 35-3 because of facilities. That's just stupid. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Hey, Fido!
Yes, bud?
Hey, have you heard about that Hair of the Dog sports bar?
Yeah, it's all everyone's been barking about. It's Midtown's #1 sports bar with over 50 TVs, burgers, loaded nachos and wings, and a massive bar. Plus, Hair of the Dog is human-friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football? Hair of the Dog Sports Bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town. Sexy French poodles welcome.
Hi, this is Ed West, Capital City Bank Market President for Leon County. Just like we do for our hometown teams, the Eagles, Rattlers, and Seminoles, our bankers are rooting for you. With personal checking accounts that include a Visa debit card, with chip technology and mobile banking access, we'll always have your back at home and on the road. At Capital City Bank, we're more than your bank. We're your bankers and your biggest fans. Visit ccbg.com/checking to open your account today.
Member FDIC. Message and data rates may apply. Ask a banker for details.
Recently, by an overwhelming margin, Floridians voted Amendment 2 into law. People all over the state who are suffering from conditions like cancer, seizures, or chronic pain are now legally able to seek out alternative natural treatments. The doctors at MMT Clinics of Florida specialize in evaluating your medical conditions to see if you qualify for this care under Amendment 2. To find out if you qualify, visit mmtcfl.com to fill out a simple survey or make an appointment. Again, visit mmtcfl.com to get started.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm ready for a new album from these guys. Should note that I ran along, and Tom and myself will do that on occasion when passionately talking about Florida State and Florida, or in this case, Florida State, during Florida State Florida week. And what I failed to do was a promo that I have been mandated to do. And it's not one that I resent. I don't mean to come across that way, but one that I just simply didn't do, and I'm going to do now, and we'll take a quick break and come back and do more of the show. And that is because our friends at Rockville want you to know there's some rocking to do.
Oh, you didn't know?
Rockville in April, baby. Florida's biggest rock experience expands to 3 freaking days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That would be April 20. Not even early April, Tom. This is late April magic here.
It's kind of like what the draft did to us, the NFL draft. Like, all right, it's time for that April draft on the 30th into May.
Yeah, by the way, general tickets, VIP packages, hotel and camping options on sale now. Hey, but we've got free tickets to give away now. Not just one pair coming up right now. 2 pairs. Ooh, 2 pairs
happy
of
Thanksgiving.
tickets to 2 separate people for our Welcome to Rockville promo. Ozzy Osbourne says hello. Queens of the Stone Age say hello.
Hello.
Avenged Sevenfold. Hail to the King. Foo Fighters. And Billy Idol. I do often forget Five Finger Death Punch. So that said, they're all there and many, many more, including Them Evils. I just like saying that band's name is Them Evils. I've never heard them. I'm sure they're great.
Did you buy into the conspiracy theory that Ozzy played up his condition for the reality show and he wasn't as bad as he put on?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
That was a widely distributed conspiracy theory.
He did kind of, yeah. It's a miracle he's not dead. We've lost some good people in this world. And Ozzy just keeps on keeping on.
Keith Richards and Ozzy are alive. And
Keith especially. He doesn't need to go anywhere. But that said, okay, well,
it's the bad blood, man.
That's not even subtle. Callers 2 and 3. Now, 523-3776. 523-3776. Get you some Rockville, won't you?
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA1 Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Hey, handsome, what's happening?
I'm ready for a beer, my man. How are you?
I am fantastic. This weather is beautiful.
Perfect, and I have a question for you. Snow cone or candy apple?
Ooh, both are sticky.
Both are tasty.
Candy apple.
No, that's the wrong answer. Halloween or Thanksgiving?
Ooh, one is sweet and the other one's savory. I'm going Thanksgiving.
Again. 16 Candles or Back to the Future?
Oh, my goodness. John Hughes or what's that boy's name? Marty McFly. I'm going 16 Candles.
Papa Grande with a Gordo smash. And by the way, I want that. Or a mountain of delicious croquetas, also with a Gordo smash.
Trick question. Either way, you're not going to lose.
Exactamundo, my brother. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
No fans, ESPN Tallahassee's official home for FSU watch parties in 2017 is Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Francois to throw for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Seminoles are going for the win.
The ESPN Tallahassee team will be on hand for every Seminole away football game with giveaways, a chance to win some great prizes, and to have a good time.
To the pylon. He's into the end zone for an FSU touchdown.
So, when the Noles hit the road, join us at Miller's Ale House on the Parkway, the official FSU watch party headquarters of your home of the best in Seminole sports talk. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Authority. This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history. November 21st, 1973. Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds was awarded the NL MVP. It was the only regular season MVP award he would earn during his major league career. Rose enjoyed one of his best seasons, recording 230 hits and a .338 batting average, both league highs.
It's that time of year again where you have to shop for the naughty and the nice. Make it easy. Superlube it and get rewarded with a free oil change. Right now, visit any of the 19 area Superlube locations, buy 3 oil changes, and get one free. Keep it or give that free oil change to a car lover on your list. Hurry in and make shopping easy with a free oil change from Superlube. You'll be glad you did.
They change my oil in just 10 minutes. Boy, this place is sure convenient. How I love to Superlube my car, lube my car. How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You know, it's fitting that that music plays for this week and our pick segment with Mama right after the passing of one Malcolm Young, Angus Young's brother, and one of the all-time great rhythm guitarists. The driving force of all of those classic AC/DC songs. My mom is a huge AC/DC fan. It may very well be her favorite rock and roll band, which is really cool and has always earned her cool points for me amongst my friends. When I was a kid, I would throw on any AC/DC album. I could put on Let There Be Rock or obviously Dirty Deeds, anything. I could put on Highway to Hell, and my mom would go, "Ooh, AC/DC, turn it up." And my friends who were 12 and 13 would go, "Your mom likes AC/DC?" And I'd go, "Loves them. She thinks they're better than I do." Is that not correct, Mama?
That is correct. I love them. I still love them. Every time I hear it on the radio, I do the same thing. I crank it up, and I was very sad to see that he passed away. He was not that old.
Well, he had dementia, and he knew it. And he discussed his health problems in 2014, and he was unable to continue to perform. And it was at that time he kind of bowed out of the band to kind of go off and be with his family. So he knew. And it's funny. He says and talked about at length in interviews that I've read over the years, because I always loved AC/DC as a kid, that he was the biggest Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly fan. And I always think that, it's fun to hear people's influence, because when you hear AC/DC, you don't necessarily upon first glance think, "Oh, that guy clearly loves Chuck Berry."
Right. I know. That's exactly right.
But it's great. So anyhow, you're a huge AC/DC fan.
I
know you were sad to see Malcolm.
It's very wonderful and fitting that we have that music for our segment.
It is perfect. It's also why we have it.
I know. I appreciate it, because I love to hear it every time.
All right. Well, then if that's the case, it's time, though. We'll cue up our little sounder here. Let's get our wagers going, Mama.
Okay.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
All right, well, because the Bucs won last week on the road against the Dolphins, Mom, you end up taking 2 of 3. So instead of being down 6, you're down 5. Let's not forget, we got 3 on Thursday. So it's time to get the picks in, and we shall start with Minnesota against Detroit.
I know it. I'm going to take Minnesota.
Me too. The Chargers are against the Cowboys in a great game, fun game.
It is a great game. I think I got to pick Dallas in this at home, because they need to win this game.
They will be desperate. They got problems, though. I'll tell you, isn't it amazing how down-to-earth and how crashing down-to-earth quarterbacks come when they don't have the best running back in the game?
Yes.
Dak Prescott suddenly doesn't look like a boy wonder who can do no wrong at all times. All of a sudden, we see questionable decisions with the football and not such a prolific nature on the offense. It helps to have a running game.
I know. It absolutely does. And they also, don't they have one of the...
Well, their best player at left tackle.
Their best player on defense or whatever is also out, which is not helping them either.
They got a lot of problems right now, and they're wildly inconsistent, and they're 5-5, and I'm going to pick the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers on the road to beat the Cowboys. There's our first game difference. I know that seems a little bit crazy, but I got a sneaky suspicion Dallas is in trouble, and I'm going to go with the hunch. Give me the Chargers. Giants versus Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington.
Me too. Florida. Oh, excuse me. I'm starting to get into the college games.
I know. We got to skip down.
It's our pool.
Yeah.
We have 4 college games that interrupt the NFL games. Chicago against Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
I know it. Now, this is a hard game for me to pick. I know Atlanta should definitely win this game. But we seem to have Atlanta's number a lot of the time, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and take Tampa Bay.
Feel free. I think the Bucs lose by 4 touchdowns. I'll take the Falcons, and there we go.
I know they probably will, but you just don't know. They're very screwy too. I know Jameis isn't playing again this week, but anyway, I'll just take them.
Okay. Carolina versus the Jets.
Yeah, Carolina.
Buffalo versus Kansas City.
I'm going to take Kansas City, even though Kansas City's sort of concerning me, but I think they'll beat Buffalo at home.
Tennessee at Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's a terrible game, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I'm taking Tennessee. I don't know why exactly.
Because Indianapolis is terrible, but
I know.
I bet it goes to overtime.
Yeah.
Tennessee sucks. Miami is at New England.
New England.
Yep. Cleveland's at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I got to take Cincinnati.
Seattle's at San Francisco.
I'm taking Seattle.
Jacksonville's at Arizona.
Speaking of Seattle, they almost pulled that game out, or at least went into overtime last night. I could have had 3 out of 3.
But you didn't.
I know. Okay, so Seattle. Jacksonville at Arizona. Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville, I guess.
New Orleans at the Rams in a wonderful game.
That is a goodie. I'm going to take the Rams. You're making me a believer.
Well, it fell on your face.
You'll probably take New Orleans.
I've been a big believer in New Orleans all year long, too. This is the battle of my 2 teams that I keep winning with every week. But I'm going to take the Rams to bounce back and get a win here. And New Orleans has won 8 straight, I might add. It's ridiculous.
I know. And they're at home, so that's helpful.
Denver's at Oakland.
Yeah, that's a terrible. Oakland.
Yeah. Green Bay's at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Houston's at Baltimore.
Yeah, I guess Baltimore.
Me too. All right, so we got 2 games different.
We got the Bucs game different, and the Chargers Dallas game.
Yep.
Okay, come on, Dallas. Damn.
I smell a split here.
I know. I kind of think that's probably true. But I don't know. To be just like the Bucs, I have to say, Fitzpatrick is hanging in there.
Yeah, he wasn't any good this last game or the game before. But
but I mean, he's at least. I mean, he got him down there, so at least we were close enough to kick a field goal. And he didn't do anything terrible. He didn't turn the ball over.
Just remember, they played the Jets and the Dolphins. Bob.
I know.
Love
That's
you.
2 reminders. All right, I love you too. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. I'll talk to you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You can tell she lives down there. I'm sure that is the talking point of all the idiots in the media. Well, just roll your eyes at the folks in Tampa.
Dirk is scheming his ass off when he doesn't want to be conservative. That is true.
Yeah.
These guys are wide open.
Lost season. It's a shame. They're going to get blown out by the Falcons, and then that'll be that. And we'll go from there.
Oh, false hope central if they beat the Falcons.
Yeah, it will be. Then you're winners of 3 straight, and then you're a game from being 500.
Yeah, exactly. Now tiebreakers are in play. If you'd have to win out. If you win out, you're going to the playoffs. The Bucs still control their own destiny.
You like that one, do you? Ain't gonna happen. Come back, wrap it up momentarily.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV. And get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
But that said, you actually have a full day of fresh content tomorrow. Really, the only days that we're not on the air, Thursday and Friday. So, did the right thing. I want my credit.
Yeah, I didn't figure not having a bye week would be,
Exhausting.
taxing. Yeah.
Well, losing a lot of games, coupled with no bye.
We were winning every week,
It'd be a lot easier to get in here and snap your fingers and let's go.
Still, the Monday after Delaware State would have been rough either way.
Probably so. What's on tap? Let's get to it from our friends at Proof Brewing Company. Woo-hoo! Let's get some What's on Tap going, shall we?
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
Man Cave show at the 7th Hill Tap Room tonight, and me trying to make sure that Proof Brewing Company sour is out there because I'm going to drink it. Tasty, tasty, tasty. I really fell in love with that beer over the weekend, and I'm going to try to find it again tonight at the 7th Hill Tap Room right after we finish the Man Cave show. What do you think of them apples?
Well, I think those are very tasty apples.
Tasty apples.
They must be the Granny Smith
My
of apples.
favorite apples.
Which reminds me,
Granny
thank
Smith
you
apples are delicious.
for reminding me. I got to go find the Granny Smith cider for Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Oh, that's your thing. That's right. You always do it. And then people just they dip into your stash.
They dip into the stash. I got to get 12 now.
You're like, no, that's not what you do.
Like, why would you? Does everything have to be about
stash.
alcohol? And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, these are delicious.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It has to be about delicious here, pal. Happy
Very
Thanksgiving to you. Pass the rolls. What kind of rolls do you have on Thanksgiving?
Delicious ones.
Crescent rolls, regular rolls?
Regular rolls.
Okay. We got the crescent rolls.
I like crescent rolls. You can't go wrong with rolls.
No, you can't.
I don't think you can go wrong with mashed potatoes either. That's me. You wouldn't like the one mashed potatoes recipe that I like, which is the one that has cream cheese in it.
Oh, good. Christmas.
Heaven on earth right there. Throw in a big stick of Kerry Forest.
Oh, hey now.
Kerry Gold. And you throw that in there and
big stick of Kerry Forest Parkway. Rub some gravel in there.
No, Kerry Gold. You get that in there and then you put the gravy on top.
Man. I'm not much for mashed potatoes.
Love them.
Period.
I can't hear the description of mashed potatoes without thinking of a famed Beastie Boys comment from an album that if you have the record, you know what I'm talking about. I certainly can't repeat it here.
I think about that old commercial for the fast food restaurant. And it's the old man and the young guy, and he's like, mashed potatoes. and I forget what the kid says.
I don't know either.
But the old guy, he delivers that line pretty well.
Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for sponsoring What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park, which is freaking awesome. And canned deliciousness in stores near you, which is also awesome.
Or bottle shops and tap rooms like the 7th Hill Tap Room, which is where we'll be tonight.
That's right. We will be.
How do you feel about this game days and days away? Any better by the close of the show?
I never felt bad about it. I just never felt great about it. I just felt like 2 4-6 teams are out here, I don't know, fight to become the tallest midget. I mean, it's a tough deal. I'm sure that wasn't PC. I apologize to the little people of the world.
I don't think these are the same kind of 4-6 teams, though, if that makes any sense. I just think Florida is a special kind of bad right now, and sure, they might rise up, but good God.
I know that
I think
this
Duke would
is
give
not,
them a run. Wake would beat Florida.
Well, Wake would beat us right now. One thing I will say is this isn't, these aren't the advanced metrics. If you're just going by the old school stats, Florida, I think, is 110th and we're 109th in offense, respectively. The two teams are in the hundreds right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sweet Jesus. That really is an unbelievable set of circumstances that these two teams find themselves in.
Oh, yeah. Started out with offensive head coaches this year, too. That's the funny part, right?
I mean, it is simply astonishing.
The one kid who worries me on their defense, it's that white kid, number 93. He seems like a nuisance.
The defensive tackle?
Yeah.
Is really good?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
They've got some players. That's the thing. They're not loaded. They're not a great team, obviously. They've seen some of that talent leave that they got under Will Muschamp, and so they've taken a dip. There's no doubt about that. But, they can play well enough at home on defense to stifle Florida State's sorry offense. So, I'm with you. I think Cam Akers is basically the best player on the field in this game. But if you can't get him going and have a modicum of success early, this game gets into the second half, and you've got a true freshman quarterback on the road in the swamp.
Yeah, it's Taven Bryan is the kid's name. 6'4", 291. He's out of Casper, Wyoming. He's got a little crazy to his game, too.
He's good.
Yeah, I think he'll probably show out this weekend. That's the guy that I've watched when they played good opponents.
He shows up. He shows up, right?
He does, but his numbers don't look that great for the year. But you watch the games, and you see that kid's pretty good. Well, that's not the white guy going to the white kid because he stands out point. Like, legitimately watching them.
Well, you're never
that's the one
guy.
You're
never going to have to justify your pick, man. We know you're not a racist. You're not, and we have a long history of not being racist.
That's
so
true.
I don't think you need to worry about it. Just
for the new Thanksgiving audience.
I guess so.
We get great numbers in Perry during Thanksgiving.
I just want you to know that we're not just identifying the white guy. No, I already know that.
He just seems to be in the right place at the right time, Jeff.
Well, he's like a coach on the field, Tom. That's one thing you can know.
Well, that's why it creates that step that he lacks with his athleticism.
That's right. Great technique. Real disciplinarian.
No, that kid actually is like a screw loose.
Well, you want a little crazy that anybody that plays on your defense comes to the table with. And we at times we've lacked a little crazy.
Good Lord. And the crazy and talent that the FSU defense had during the heyday, they're all on Philadelphia, by the way. You notice that? Like, even Patrick Robinson is showing out for the Eagles these days.
Patrick always had talent, and, he was in New Orleans on bad teams, and he also was injury-riddled. But there were guys that, had that. He was the first to kind of have that length that you see where you at that position.
Snuck into the end of the first round.
Yeah, and he was a guy that you looked at and said, that's a little bit different. I mean, the further removed, I had somebody tweet at me over the weekend noting that the further removed we get from 2013, the more it is easily recognizable that team was made up of physical freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, freaks everywhere. Brooks is a great player in the league. You look at what Jernigan is in the league. You look at, obviously, you're talking about it now, Xavier Rhodes. Think about the tandem that is Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
For years, you could point to LSU corners, and you could point to LSU secondary in general and look at, the Honey Badger and all these other guys that they threw into the league and be like, man, LSU had a run for the secondary that is really unprecedented, except for the one that Florida State's had.
Sure.
Because you're about to throw Derwin James into the league. And if you want to go back, because technically you could go and say, well, if he were a fifth-year senior, he would have been on that national championship team. We have some kids that were. But if you think about a Jalen Ramsey, a Xavier Rhodes, a Darby, who's played well this year, and when he's healthy, he's played well in the NFL, period. You're mentioning Patrick Robinson going back a ways.
Just before that time.
And, there are a lot of guys in that league, Brooks, there are a lot of guys in that league that you look at and think, good Lord, that was nuts.
P-Rob's been injured a bunch, but, he was highly rated coming out of college, and he has all the physical tools.
It's nuts, man. It's a group. You could see why teams were simply overwhelmed. And then if you want to come down to the next level, where obviously you got guys at linebacker all over the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
13, it was an NFL team. Period.
It really was. And I don't know what to do with that. I keep not, because on the one hand, you certainly get credit for evaluating and recruiting those players.
Yeah,
you can't not get credit for that.
Think about the run on tailbacks. I mean, Carlos is out of the league because he can't stay in the league, not because he's not capable of being in the league.
And he was
he's
great when he was in the league very briefly before he ate himself out of it.
And he's the worst of the collection of Chris Thompson, who just obviously got hurt this weekend, and that really, really sucks, and I hate it for him, but I'm glad he got his second contract before he got hurt.
That was huge.
And Dalvin and Devonta. Here comes Cam Akers in a couple of years for you.
Without question, Cam Akers is going to be a pro and knock on wood, if he avoids injury, because you can already see it. You can already see the way he's built.
Now we just needed some receivers to send to the league.
Well, I think maybe a change will help that out. We'll see. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Matthew. And again, tomorrow you'll get a full Seminole headlines. But we wanted to make sure we did 2 full live shows here at the beginning of the week before giving you Seminole headlines tomorrow. So that means that we say Happy Thanksgiving. Obviously, Happy Thanksgiving to you, Tom. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Matthew. And we all say here from the Jeff Cameron Show, Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Enjoy it. And obviously, here's to beating the Gators, moving that streak to 5 straight, salvaging something from what has been a lost year. It basically means bowl eligibility.
Time to get nervous for that ULM mega upset if we win the game.
Take care. Have a good night.